All right, we're back, guys. Last Roundup Horror Show, season 6. Good God. And we got the whole fucking crew back here. We got Jason. How you doing, Jason?
Good to be back.
We got John. How you doing, John?
Happy New Year. Beep, beep, beep.
There he is, back in action. Ray
Yeah.
McGuff, what's up?
Hi-yo.
Hey, and we got a couple films here. First one up, Nosferatu the Vampire, selected by John Walmsley. 1979. Summary for this film: Count Dracula moves from Transylvania to Wismar, spreading the Black Plague across the land. Only a woman pure of heart can bring an end to his reign of horror. Directed by Werner Herzog, or Werner Herzog, however you say it. What's the proper way, Randy?
What is it, John?
John.
Werner, I mean, in his accent, Werner, but
Werner.
it's Werner Herzog.
Written by Werner
Oh,
Herzog
yeah.
and based on the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker, and of course the original film. Who did the original Nosferatu?
F.W. Murnau.
There you go. Jason, do you have any information?
I didn't find a tagline. It was released on Blu-ray through Scream Factory in 2014.
Right on. John, why don't you start things off since you picked this?
All right, so I am a Nosferatu stan. I love the character ever since I saw it in this book. I always called it the Red Book. This is handy for having for being by my bookcase. This is a book my dad gave me. I don't know if that's going to be made out. And it was between this, reading this growing up, and then seeing Ernest Scared Stupid. My love for, and at the beginning, you know, they did go through all those old movies and stuff as it goes along. So I was so intrigued. It went his shadow walking up the wall. I never seen anything like it. And then my dad told me about it. Saw it years later because he's like, you wouldn't sit through a silent movie. There's no way you'd sit through a silent film. I was like, all right, I get it. You're probably right. You know, if it doesn't have like hot chicks and stuff in it at this point, I don't care, you know. But so I finally saw it. I loved it. Just the coolest vampire of all time. Then my dad was a crazy collector of famous monsters of Filmland. And it was in here. We were on a road trip, and I just grabbed a few random issues. And the first thing I remembered seeing was this image of him. And I was like, the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? I didn't read the articles. I just liked looking at the all the cool pictures and stuff. So that was like, I can't remember how old I was. It was just some family road trip to like Maryland or something. And I was like, I don't know what that movie is. I'm never going to watch it. Never going to watch it. Look at that. And then I got older and saw lots of more things. And I didn't see this up until about 5 years ago. Maybe was my first viewing of that actual film. And then I ended up really liking it a lot. I also knew more about Klaus Kinski too. That dude was a fucking psycho.
Like, yeah, I read a little bit about him. It seemed like he was a bit problematic.
So check it out. The only story I know of, there's a sequel to this film. It's called Nosferatu or Vampire in Venice, right? It's an Italian version of it. And he's like not bald, doesn't wear the ears or nothing like that. But there's like nudity and stuff, so it's a little raunchier. And the one girl during a scene with them, like he like totally like drew blood on her boob, like he bit into her. And then she was like, if you need me, she was one of the brides, you know what I mean? The brides of Dracula. So like they needed her. This was like all filming was almost done. She's like, I'm not going to be in the same fucking room with this guy. If if he stays on, or we got to do our scene separate. And they ended up doing it separate. Like this guy,
Yeah.
he's a phenomenal actor. Like
I read some really weird shit about his daughters. Him doing
Nastasia, she
well,
was in that Cat People, the
Yeah.
remake with I believe Nastasia Kinski. I could be way wrong.
but like, evidently both of them were molested in some way by him. Like
God, that's not a fucking shock.
no, one of the ones said that he would like hold her sexually, and the other one said he full on like got nasty. So
That's disgusting. I mean, anyway, separate that from the art. That he was a good actor, but he was psycho, and obviously we know. But his portrayal of the vampire, I liked it a lot. They said he'd worked with Herzog before on the only name I can remember is like Aguirre, The Wrath of God. Arrow did a release, and I tried to watch it and I just couldn't do it. It's like an epic. Frank, you'd love it. It's an epic, like 3 or 4 hours long or something.
Oh yeah, love those. Drag it on, brothers.
Like, him and Herzog like went to blows every day. Like, and the way he got a good performance out of Kinski in this is he would get him super riled up because this dude was like a tantrum thrower. You know, like but he would get him exhausted just from throwing a tantrum. That's how he got like the subdued performance and stuff. And he said even the rats were still better behaved than him. But I really like Isabella Adjani. She's a phenomenal actress. If you haven't seen Possession, go check that out. That's a weird flick. It just got put back on Shudder. So I highly suggest checking that out. She acts her face off. Sam Neill's in it too. He's awesome in that. But I love this movie. I love the original more, but I like the music. I like the acting. I like the little hop at the end there.
That's the best part of the movie.
I know. I remember you talking about it.
Well, that and the little short dude that's like
Renfield.
When no, the little dude that he's like arrest Van Helsing. He's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know. There was lots of humor. I really liked the scenes of the people dancing with what's left of the town. They're just like, they're nuts. They're like, well, we're gonna die anyways. Let's party, you know. And it was weird that he didn't dissolve in the sunlight. I thought that was weird. It just like
his death was shitty.
Yeah, like it was really, really weird. Like I thought maybe it would have been a more violent death.
Something
like a violent burning, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe special effects or something, because
it was like the build up to a huge cum shot, like, and then just a dribble comes out. Like there was nothing.
Yeah, I really thought we were gonna see him stake the shit out of him at the end, you know?
Something.
So,
yeah, but that was all about seeing Jonathan's little
escape plan.
Yeah, his little is like,
look who's in charge now.
Yeah.
Derek, clean it up.
Yeah. He's like, oh good, the consecrated host is gone. I'm out of here. Yeah. They shot one of the scenes where he's walking to the castle. That was the same place they shot Phenomena, the beginning with the waterfalls.
Okay.
And that chain railing, you know, because that was so modern. That was like iron and chain. Like they didn't do that shit. Like that wasn't authentic. It was like, oh, we got to shoot around it somehow. Here we go. I didn't like that they didn't do rising out of the coffin, the famous scene, aside from the shadow walking up the steps. I was surprised they didn't do that. And I feel like one of the things, as I'm a big fan of Shadow of the Vampire too, I feel like one of the things that John Malkovich based his director character on was Werner Herzog himself. There's on the Scream Factory. I scooped that up on like a sale before Christmas. It was like I think it was their Halloween sales, like a huge amount of like lesser titles and stuff were like $8 or something. There's a vintage 7 to 10 minute behind the scenes documentary with everybody. And Werner Herzog's talking through it, and you know his voice. He's got like one of them distinct voices. He's talking through it. Get to see him direct a little bit on the set. That was really fun. It's a cool little nifty little special feature. So I dig this movie. I like what they did. Werner Herzog wanted to remake Nosferatu. He wanted to kind of like link the two because he thinks, in his opinion, it was the best German film ever. Is Nosferatu, and he wanted to try and do it justice. And I mean, no one else could play. The closest second to the original Nosferatu vampire look is Barlow from Salem's Lot.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, Reggie Nadler, he was in some with I can't remember. It was like the first Arrow movie I reviewed. And then that's when I found out he played the vampire in Salem.
Well, what about on What We Do in the Shadows? That's kind of a Nosferatu.
He's third.
Yeah, very good.
He was cool though. But that was good makeup. He looked good enough. He looked more like a skull with ears than anything. So I give this movie a 7. I did like it a lot. I own it. I watch it from time to time. I like the music a lot. It's a good performance. It's something you can put on in the background and get things done with. So
yeah,
there it is.
Jason, why don't you hit us with your thoughts?
Oh, so first of all, what is the difference between Nosferatu and Count Dracula? Because doesn't he refer to himself as Count Dracula in this?
Nosferatu is a stolen Dracula. Like they just did it. They couldn't call it Dracula, so they just did it. Isn't that right, John?
Yeah. Like Bram Stoker's widow wouldn't sell the rights, so F.W. Murnau just kind of stole it and changed the characters' names.
Mm-hmm. And they tried to destroy it, didn't they? Like
she tried to have it. She had like a small success. There were some prints that were destroyed, but not nearly enough. You know what I mean? I'm talking like maybe under 10 prints were destroyed, and they had like a bunch of them or something.
So he called himself Count Dracula. There's no.
Yeah, that was a decision by Werner Herzog. He wanted the characters to be the characters from the book because he had the rights. He was able to purchase the licensing.
Yeah, so I would say over the last 10 years is when I started to get into like older horror movies, the Universal, the Hammer, what's the other one? Amicus.
Yeah.
So I definitely have I don't know, kind of a background with older horror movies. Now this was a little bit slow, drawn out, kind of boring for me. Now, but I'm used. I can deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys know, there's certain things that can kind of hide that for me. Wasn't a lot in this. I do think the music was cool, but I found myself checking the time on the DVD or not. I wasn't. I was on Tubi, and that's another thing. Tubi didn't help you.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe
made it longer. Commercials made it longer.
It made for a longer watch, but the commercials I was able to like look at my phone and I could like take a break and just kind of step away from this. But I like the way he looks. I kind of like the Nosferatu. To me, when I think of Nosferatu, I think of this character looking this way. And Count Dracula, I'll automatically go to the more human looking. But I didn't know if there was really, are we talking about the same
basically.
being,
about a
or
vampire,
if there
bro.
were some differences between them two. I don't know enough about either of them really. Um, yeah, just what wasn't a whole lot there to keep my attention. I like the way he looked. And this was in '79, and the whole time I'm thinking like, this came out a year after John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yeah, it seems like an old Hammer movie. For
I
real.
get like it's kind of a time period piece as much as it is a character piece. Like they tried to, so that made it seem a lot older. But I'm like, man, like this feels like it was. This feels like I'm watching an old movie and I'm just grabbing at things to try to like, just because it's one of the more popular horror movies out there, I would say. But it's okay. If I find it cheap, I pick it up. I'd watch it again, but no hurry for that. I give it a 6.
Right on. Ray?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have pretty much said exactly what I was thinking. I liked that it looked like an old style film shot in an old film style. I mean, clearly it's 79, but it looks a little older in my opinion. But yeah, as far as like I did notice the chain link fence or the chain fence thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad they said that because that waterfall looked familiar to me. I was like, this looks like I've seen it somewhere, so that makes sense. Um, I I had a couple of problems with some of the character stuff, like Lucy's complete hatred of Jonathan Working. I just didn't. I was like, what a dumb choice for this to be like in that time period. If you're going for that, that she wouldn't have questioned where her husband was going at all. Like
It would be expected.
yeah, be expected exactly. So that
Well,
was weird.
She
Yeah.
was extra scared for him. She knew something was up. Like
Well,
she had
sure,
her thing.
but I mean, as far like she's just like, no, don't do anything. Let's go to that place where we used to go on the beach.
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about here? Like, I mean,
Oh, and
yeah.
the little dude that kept laughing all the time, the
Renfield.
crazy dude.
Renfield, yeah.
That was all right for a little bit, but like it kept coming back to it. I'm like, oh, if he laughs one more time, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Apparently, it was embellished for the U.S. cut. It's not as, I guess, loud on the German cut.
Yeah, it was almost like a Batman villain from the fucking 60s.
I mean, the
Batman.
laugh is he's still laughing, he's still doing his thing, he's still performing. They just amplified it for the US release.
I did like Renfield. Like he said, blood is life. That made me laugh really hard. So
Yeah.
I was like, is it though? Okay, that's cool. But yeah, he was a little bit much. The entire once the town goes ape shit crazy, dancing and having outdoor dinners with 1,000 rats. I was like, okay, this is straight up Werner Herzog. What he loves this kind of crazy weird shit.
Mhm.
So that was his own, adding to that. I did find it to be boring. Like, I'll be honest with you, John. I liked it, but I'm with Jason. Halfway through it, I was hitting the button, like going, "What the fucking time is this?" Like,
oh wow,
left? Are you kidding me? But there was a lot of walking, which we've all talked about.
Oh fuck
when
yeah, there was
walking. I'm like, God, what are we doing? But overall, yeah, the music was cool. I love the visual style of it. For somebody, you can clearly say that they didn't have a lot of money. I don't think, right? I mean, it didn't look like it was a huge production with a lot of extras. I mean, it looked like a decent amount, but nothing crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of rats.
I mean, it was released by Warner Brothers. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell at this time period, especially when they're doing a period piece like this. Like, look at Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I guarantee you they had a ton of money for that movie, and it has the same sort of look to this.
So some of the stuff I was like, yeah, that's okay, but I would have particularly liked it to be a little better, like especially the off the screen kill, final kill of
that was weak.
I liked a little of the nods to the original too, that they did here and there. I've seen that one several times. I've never seen this until now. So
okay.
Yeah, I would definitely pick this up. I would add this to my collection. I gave it a 6 out of 10 as well. It's something that I didn't know existed. I'm glad I know it's out there, but I'm not
Cool.
going to be rushing to watch it again either.
Right
So,
on.
yeah,
I get you.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
you. It's not for everyone. It
Yeah,
definitely isn't.
it's an interesting rework of the original. So I give it that, and it had its moments. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that this is the first. Well, did Werner Herzog do Grizzly Man? Was that his movie?
That was a documentary he did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
only other work I've seen of his other than this. And when I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't even know if the dude is a good filmmaker. I know he gets talked about a lot, but judging by like the first chunk of this movie, and I know I'm the runtime guy. I know that I always am bitching about runtime, but 4 minutes in, I'm watching kittens play on old books, and I'm like, what are we fucking doing, brother? Like really, the thing's an hour 45 or so, and I can think of 5 instant minutes off the front end you could just chop off. And then all the traversing of the fucking land, and he's on a horse, he's fucking walking. That took forever. So that could have been chopped up a little bit. Get it down to an hour and a half. Maybe I wouldn't judge it so harshly, I think. But when they were talking about how Dracula was wanting to make a trip from Transylvania, unless I missed it, they didn't bring up the most annoying vampire lore about Dracula, and it's that he always has to travel with soil from his homeland. Did they mention that at
That
all?
was what was in the coffins.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it?
yeah, they said something about
They
it.
still
So
they
fucking
didn't they
stupid.
didn't I think they only mentioned soil when someone was reading out of the vampire book.
Oh,
It was
The
it was
Egyptian
wasn't
and then
the detective that was looking at the boat, wasn't he reading what the manifest was?
oh, okay. There
yeah,
we go.
yeah,
So
he
it was mentioned. I just missed it. But
yeah, but it wasn't like prominent. It was more visual than anything. He's like, oh, there's the coffins full of dirt. Okay, Dracula goes in. We know Dracula's in his own.
I never understood why that was a thing. I always thought it was fucking stupid. But yeah,
Have you
this
seen
was
Night Flyer?
a long time ago. That's Stephen King, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
long time.
he travels with that too.
Just put
in
some
an
in your
airplane.
pockets, buddy.
Oh, he has to sleep in it.
Oh, he has to sleep in it.
Yeah, he
Okay.
has to sleep in it.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to be chained to. It's like car insurance. Yeah, but yeah. I thought this movie was
This Flo
pretty.
shows up in Nosferatu. Hey, car insurance.
Are you traveling without dirt from your homeland? I don't think that's a safe way to travel. But yeah, I thought this was boring, of course. And this is what it seemed like to me. I accidentally turned on AMC at 2 a.m. in the morning in the 90s during October. And this is playing. I've never really cared about Dracula in any form, so it's not just this movie. I want my vampires to be from like the 80s or the 90s, like Fright Night or From Dusk Till Dawn, Lost Boys. I'll take David Arquette and Paul Rubens from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah,
That's good. Oh, that old WCW wrestler Vampyro or whatever. I like that.
Really excited to see old Nick Cage take a stab at it.
me too.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's going to be
That looks
interesting.
good.
I think it's gonna, I think it's really gonna be a funny movie, and
Yeah.
I hope it's super violent for the small amount of time that Cage is gonna be on screen. I hope it's just like a fucking wholesale slaughterhouse, man.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want, man.
But yeah, there's a few times where another reason I was questioning Warner's artistic vision for this film. There's a couple shots I was like, why is he framing it this way? And there's this one shot where there's a horse's ass like taking up half the frame, and then over in the corner there's like people doing stuff, and it's like I don't understand a lot of the decisions with his let's look at this, let's look over here. He focuses on weird shit.
He's really into the landscapes and the back and just
and I think that's what makes a movie that people who enjoy slow burn stuff might be noticing how they're being burned. Like the burn is very obvious. It's like you're just fucking there for it. You're watching a guy traverse multiple different kinds of terrain for Lord of the Ring level travel almost. I mean, we're talking about a lot of walking and shit. And then a lot of pointless Herzog flavor. I think
that was the coolest shot at the end though, was when he was riding across the desert.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying they aren't cool looking, but you know, it's I don't know that I like how the vampire looks, but I hate how he speaks. Anything about the original that I liked, which wasn't much, is diminished a little bit by this. They seem to kind of Tim Burton-esque this thing into a Looney Tune a little bit. He's got like some Voldemort look, like something about him vibe. He's also kind of got a little bit of a Bill Skarsgård Pennywise thing to him. And I can't barely fucking understand him. He's marble mouthed. He's got yeah, I thought the way he went down at the end was really lame. And the best part of the movie, like I said, that little short dude with the top hat that argues about how he can't arrest Van Helsing or whatever. He kind of just gives up. And then Harker's little sneaky move when he gets out of the communion wafers that I think we agreed.
Yeah, the consecrated host is crushed up communion wafers.
Yeah. This movie isn't for me, but I'm not saying it's bad. If you like Hammer and you would like like a Nosferatu remake that has Hammer vibes, it's kind of art house. Do you like a guy traversing overcast vistas? Give it a shot.
And when you have your lead role pretty much the whole time is just staring.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of dialogue, so it's that doesn't help things either. But I do like there's a couple times where he's just staring at him. I'm like, that's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah, and if you like chickens, there's quite a bit of chicken action in this. So if you like that kind of shit, check it out.
And there's a goose in a bar.
Yeah,
you're into
I forgot to talk about that. I was watching it today. I was like, there's a fucking goose right next to that shit. Like looking up at him, looking like, hey, where's my shit?
Yeah, he's the only one that didn't turn around and look at him. They should have. Twitching his head around.
Yeah, there's also a really fun.
Then I would have gave it a 10.
There's a really fun. There's a fun scene with Nosferatu when Jonathan like cuts his hand or something, and he really wants to suck on his hand. He kind of grabs it and it made me laugh. Yeah.
What did you get it, Frank?
4 out of 10. But if you like that shit, if you like Hammer, this seems like a Hammer movie, even though it's about a decade later.
Not a high rating, but a recommendation.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Skinamarink, Skankadank.
Oh my god, that was stupid. Did you see that?
Skinamarink. No.
Yeah.
Skinamarink.
I know what you mean, but I have not seen it.
Why is everybody going so crazy about it? What's the big deal? I found it so ridiculous. Like, it was claustrophobic, and I like that, but it was like the stupidest thing. Okay, so the whole basis of it, just to break it down, it's like what? 2 kids wake up, and there's no doors, no windows, no parents, no nothing, and it's like from the kids' perspective, and there's all this like shadow play. It's everybody's like, oh my god, it's so disturbing. I really was not that impressed with it. I really wasn't. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Elliot? Because I was not. It insisted upon itself. That's how I feel. And I really didn't think it was that scary, honestly. I feel bad because he hasn't watched it. Like, honestly, you it's dumb. You're not missing anything.
I'm sorry. Like I said, Lisa knows, like, again, 6 years old, I start reading every book I can find on film and horror film. I spend my whole life acting, writing, directing, reading everything on film, filmmaking, biographies, you name it, to come to 2012 to start doing more research to come up with a whole platform to lecturing on horror history. And so all that ties and all plays into writing and, all becomes one big cycle of my creativity. And I have to say that I have watched art avant-garde films, experimental films, East Village. Learned a lot about life and film and music, seeing my friends Carl and Robbie at NYU every weekend. Biggest fucking pieces of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It is garbage. There is no psychological avant-garde art house pretentious bullshit platform of thought that you could come to justify what a piece of shit this movie is. It is beyond. For me, like the serious implications of the movie in a like Criterion Collection analytical way is that it says something about where our culture is right now and our humanity is, that people are flocking to see this film and being traumatized or affected by it. Says a lot in a very terrifying way that's more scary than any
they had a girl
of this turd.
And she said she couldn't finish it. And I was like, well, what was so disturbing about it? It's just dumb. It's dumb. You got to see it just so you can give your perspective on it, because it's like such a strange, and honestly, the only way I would explain it insists upon itself. The Family Guy line. I don't like The Godfather because it insists upon itself. That's how I feel about it. Did anybody see The Deep House? Did anyone see that?
What is that? What is that?
Oh,
You kept saying that.
That's the underwater haunted house.
Yes, and like a great theory. Okay, but like it's a great theory, right? Like, and you would think in your mind, like, oh, this might work in a way because it's like, again, this weird claustrophobic. And I really like these movies that like, build on that like isolation, that, impending doom, and you're isolated. You can't get out. You can't go anywhere. You're on an island or stuck in an elevator. I like that. I'm here for it. But that was the most utterly effing ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's only something stupid white people would do, I might add. The boyfriend is borderline abusive. But basically they dive to the bottom of this giant lake this sketchy French guy tells them about. And the guy, it's like, it's supposed to be a thing about social media views, obviously, because he's all trying to get views. The annoying boyfriend who has this ridiculous smoke show French girlfriend. By the way, hottest girlfriend, dude. Like no bra through the whole thing. She's like, let's go look at the underwater French house. And I'm like, yeah, go. I mean, that's basically her whole role through the whole thing. She's very, independent and open throughout it, let's just say. And he is not worthy of her at all. She's smoke show. He's a freaking pussy. But he's like, we're not getting enough views, so we're going to go dive to the bottom of this big river with this sketchy French guys told us about. And there's a house under there, right? So sounds good in theory for likes. They got their pogro. They get under there. The first thing they encounter, and I keep in mind she's scared of scuba diving, is like Mary on the door, on the gates, and like a cross. So wouldn't that be your first
Virgin
clue?
Mary?
Yes. Like, wouldn't that be your first clue not to go any further into the house? Like, wouldn't you think to yourself, like, gee, it's weird, the first place that they flooded this house. But anyway, long story long, they get in there. There's people in there. The people were Satanists. And they're like floating, and it is creepy. There are parts that are very creepy. Excuse my daughter behind me too. I make her watch all the horror movies with me. I feel like 4 years old is a good. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it pissed me off on so many levels. It pissed me off. It was just what he was like pressuring her into the scuba diving from the get-go. So she goes with them for the views. And long story long, the Satanist worshiping ghosts that somehow are living underwater, I don't know how, are released, and they have some creepy, scenes where they're trying, I guess, to scuba dive away from these ghosts, which is utterly effing ridiculous. But then it's like, it's so funny. It's like, what was the mystery surrounding it? Oh, well, no big deal, because the projector worked underwater. And guess what the projector showed? Them being Satan worshipers. And I'm like, well, that's not, obvious or anything. It literally opens to a scene of like the guy holding a kid down, stabbing it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, and this movie had such a budget. But anyway, it pissed me off on so many levels. And then, like, can I spoil it? Should I spoil it?
Oh yeah, for me, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. So the hot French girl, we are all like rooting for this French girl. We don't care that the boyfriend dies. Like, I don't. I'm like, girl, dump his ass, get out of this, lake, get rid of the French guy, get out of France in general. Go live your life without a bra. Be happy. You're hot. You got life, right? So she goes to get out. She finally escapes the house or whatever, and she's swimming, and you're like rooting for her. And guess what? She dies. That's it. That's it. That's the end of the movie. She just dies. She's floating, looking hot, even in the scuba outfit. And then she just like floats there. And that's the end. And the credits roll. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what did I just do with an hour of my life? And I was livid. Great theory, though. But yeah, like, I need to smoke much more weed to sit through a movie like that. I'm just saying. You need to give me a little bit more.
It sounds like one of the I've recently gotten into the stupid Amityville spinoffs that they've been doing.
Oh my god! Now I love all of them.
But that's what it sounded like to me. It sounded like Amityville sunk to the bottom of the river.
On the bottom of the river. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's pretty much what. Okay,
I might watch it.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Amityville?
Oh no! Well, my favorite one's the original one, but I have literally in the past week just bought all of the stupid ones. All of them.
In space? The one in space?
I got that. I haven't watched it yet, but I got it. Amityville Karen is the one that got me. That's the one that got me to. I started to get all of them. Amityville Karen is the one that made me want to buy the rest of them.
Oh my God, I haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah.
See, I'm so off on that. What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like a public domain name now, I guess, or something like that. So any company can make, Amityville Toy Box is one, Clown House is one, all these different ones.
Wow.
I love the original with you got crazy ass Margot Kiddo, right? Kiddo. Crazy ass her before she went crazy, right? And she's like, she's like what? Like the single mom of four with like is it Josh Brolin or somebody like that? But he's like all
his dad, James.
It's his father,
And he's all like, mountain manned up. But my favorite thing is like how he increasingly goes crazy and he's like, just shut up to the kids and stuff. And like he's growing this big beard and walking around all sweaty.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody knows, Marvel Cable is Josh Brolin, and then his dad is James Brolin. But Ryan Reynolds played his dad's role in the remake, so it's kind of a multiverse.
My favorite. That's crazy. Wow. My favorite part of that is when Ryan Reynolds they got the little chubby kid, and Ryan Reynolds is chopping the wood all crazy, and the kid's like, "You're scaring me." That's my favorite part in that movie. Yeah, I love those movies. Didn't they have a 3D one? Am I mistaken?
Yeah. That's Meg Ryan. Ryan.
What?
Was one like I was. Really? That's when I was like, I remember 7 years old seeing the commercials, and I was terrified.
It was
that was like part
story.
2 and part 3, right?
I think
part 3.
Meg Ryan is in one of them for sure. I think it's the third one.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's 2 or 3. Again, it's in the 80s.
It's in the 80s. Old school Meg Ryan too, Inner Prime. Yeah, that's when you want her too. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'll check that out. Yeah, I will check that out. Yeah, all the Amityvilles, I love them. I love the whole premise. Would y'all live in that house? It was up for sale. I would too in a second. I don't even care. I would be like, this is where the kid was laying all bloody. Like, I would love that shit. I'm so weird like that. I love it. I'm all about it. Anybody else?
I don't know. I don't know what to think. It's weird. The Amityville stuff. There's so many books that have come out now discussing the hoaxes.
It's fucking terrifying. It's a terrifying story.
Like what whatever the Lutzes or whatever went through, and the Warrens being kind of like fakes. But still, no matter what, even if you don't believe everything about the Warrens and Conjuring 2 or 3, what it shows, like even so, like I don't know, man. It just seems like no matter what, you have a house where people got butchered and massacred. Like there's got to be some bad shit there. That no matter what you're making up, there's probably still some evil stuff there. I'm sorry.
There's a house down the way. I'm not even kidding. This lady in 99, and my mom used to be friends with her. No joke. But she, for whatever reason, went nuts, and she hung her 2 babies and then herself. And it was so creepy because we all like watched them take the bodies out and everything. But I kid you not, nobody stays in that house. Nobody. It's like everybody who goes in there, they hear noises. Like no one has ever stayed in that house for long. I've lived here for like 25 years. And within those 25 years, I've watched people come and go. Isn't that creepy? Yeah, I think some houses just had that weird vibe. In saying that, I would totally live like the Celio house where the Tate massacres happened. I would have lived in that house in a second. I went up there with my mom. What? Yes. I actually know the guy who lives in the property that's actually on where her estate used to be. His name's David. I can't remember his last name. Famous producer. Elliot, you probably know him, but he's a cool guy. He's done a lot of cool stuff.
Wait, which house is this and where is it?
It's the Oman house. No, David Oman. He's the guy who owns the property that's on where the Sharon Tate house used to be. It's like a beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I went there finally in January last year, and I meant to edit it to put it into my horror lecture. But yeah, I found Cielo Drive. It's like 130 Cielo Drive, and me and my buddy Sean Alfeld went there, and I was to pull up to that iconic driveway, which you saw in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and like the photos, like I had like a genuine panic attack, like just to see like that's where it happened. And the pole is still there that Tex Watson climbed up to cut. Like that utility pole is still there, so it's like it all comes flooding over you. And again, I've been lecturing on that in my horror lecture up until the pandemic. I did a whole huge segment on it. So just knowing too much, it was like, it's really creepy just to like see. Yeah. Even though they tore down the original house where they were killed, just to know like it's still there and you could see this is the gate, this is where they went. It's just,
it's totally creepy. It's one of my favorite places. And honestly, this is going to sound so crazy. If I had my dream of living anywhere, it would be within proximity of that house. Is that weird? I just love that area. I'm an LA girl. I'm from Los Angeles, but I didn't know that. Area. Yes, that specific area I love. I just love that area. You know, it's such a cool area.
Are there hauntings in that house, or is that reported? I've never.
There's got to be. I mean, there has to be something because the
what is the show? Ghost Adventures with that guy Zach Bagans. Zach Bagans. You know. Anyway, he's so adorable. But anyway, him and his big poopy pants. But anyway, so he did his little thing out there, and they had a lot of stuff happen. And, you know, honestly, I don't know if it's necessarily from Sharon Tate or if it's more specifically from like the ground itself, because there was a lot of Native American massacres within that area. So, I'd like to think in my own way that Sharon Tate has moved on and is not walking the halls down there any longer. Yeah, that would, you know what I mean? I just watched this really cool documentary on Jay Sebring. He was awesome, dude. I would have, you know, done horrible, terrible things with him. Just saying, off topic. That was a sexy guy, you know? Yeah.
Wait, who is he? Was he involved in the murders? Which one was that?
No, he was the one who tried to defend Sharon. He's the one who got popped in the beginning. Yeah, he said, "For God's sakes, can't you see she's pregnant?" And Tex Watson popped him. Yeah. Okay. I know. I could like.
He was He was hairdresser to the stars in the 60s. So Jim Morrison, Jefferson Airplane, like you name it, he was their hairdresser. Warren Beatty. So he was so influential. He was, I think, even Adam West's like hairdresser, and then he got into a cameo on 66.
Dating Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas at the time.
And that's why. There was a connection to Michelle Phillips. A lot of drugs in that circle, and that killers were connected to Manson and Spawn Ranch, and there was a lot of bad blood in that just circle because of Wojtek Frykowski, who was one of the people killed that night. You know, he was definitely dealing drugs, and he was definitely in some pretty nasty circles, and he had done some crazy stuff as well. But it's like, I don't know. I don't think to see that property. I'm sure I just know too much because I've read and studied too. It's just, I don't know. It'd probably be overwhelming. It's just like,
see, for me, I was like 9 years old, and I was immediately trying to climb up and over so I could go actually see like everything. Like I'm crazy that way. Yeah. And saying that, there has never been a good movie made about that ever, in my opinion. I mean, Once About a Time in Hollywood, yes. You know, I love that movie because of what it is, but really all the description, I just watched that one Through the Eyes of Sharon Tate with like Hilary Duff or whatever. That was reprehensibly horrible. I've never seen a good movie about it ever.
I didn't know that.
I think like, it's one of those things that I don't know. Like, I don't know. I wrote a whole script I was doing, and I actually shot a bunch of it, which is on YouTube, doing a reenactment. And then like, I don't know what I was doing. Like, it was just trying to do a movie. And then it was also docudrama, all these things I shot like a recreation. And it was just disturbing. And I tried to be as respectful as possible, but
wait, a recreation of what? Wait.
Of the murders?
My daughter even heard that. She was like, "What? Of the murders? What?" Even my daughter heard that. She put her head up like, "What?"
It's on my YouTube thing. So basically, I was trying to make a movie like on no budget about Polanski and the effects of the murders, and then eventually, if I'd show like end up like what happened with the 13-year-old girl and all that stuff. I was trying to tell like this bigger story about the impact of that on him, blah blah blah. So I only got as far as doing basically the big reenactment of the murders. So, that was cool. Like I succeeded in what I wanted to do. And though, it was still whatever, but I think like trying to do it and having that script and not being able to do half of it. I just think like to really do it right, to see the big picture of it all, it'd have to be a TV series. It would have to be a TV series and not a movie, because it's mind blowing to find out still today from the book Chaos, which just came out like 2-3 years ago, that book even rips open what we thought it was about. And I think today, again, a TV series is what we need to do justice.
Are those two connected? The Polanski scandal and the Tate house? I didn't know that there was a connection between those two.
Yeah, I mean, because Polanski, he was married to Sharon Tate. She was pregnant, blah, blah. He was cheating on her. Their marriage relationship wasn't great. Yeah, and like I said, that he doesn't even know until the morning of Saturday, whatever that's August the 9th that she's murdered. So, he comes back into this media circus and all this stuff. And I think the trauma that definitely probably played into why, when he started to like come back to life with things, was like, and I think like there's a lot of things about him. There's already messed up. He survived the Holocaust. He lost his parents in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Like he had a lot of trauma. And I think that incident, from what I read, like really just sent him over the fall, so to speak. That
I actually just read his biography, Roman Polanski's biography, and it's a very interesting read. It's dated, of course, because it was written not long after her murder, and so he addresses the story about the underage girl. Yeah. Very, very chauvinistic too, I might add. He's very, he's a product of his times. Yeah. So it's hard for me to, I appreciate his work. I really do. I think he was such a gifted, but it's hard for me, there's always that great saying, separate the art from the artist.
His movies are great, but he's a piece of shit for sure.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, man. I was really shocked how he mentioned the, situation with the young girl. And it's like, at the end of the day, this was a 13-year-old kid. And he's just like, oh, it just happened. And you're like, oh my God, like, listen, this isn't like Poland, dude. Like, this isn't how we do things here. But and also a thing I find fascinating about him, he's a fascinating character in general, but his films are absolutely incredible. But also the fact that he brought a psychic to the crime scene like a day after, like that to me, that picture of him standing outside with the psychic there, that to me is cool. Could you handle that? I could not handle that. Like if my family was slaughtered and then the next day, like they have this picture, he's kneeling out there with this psychic who's, trying to find the murderer, My mom lived in LA at the time. Her whole family, the day that these murders happened, had to all sleep in the same room until they caught the people who did it. Yeah. My mom had... Wow. Yeah, she was an LA girl, so she was going around when all that shit was going down. Go figure, huh?
I don't know about the psychic being 100% true, because again, Chaos is the best book. This guy spent 20 years of his life, and he went like deep, and I urge anybody to read it. Just if you're obsessed with Manson and that night, like it's a game changer. And this guy gave his life for 20 years to write. But so I think there's a lot of misinformation that happened about like how Polanski reacted, and this book really nails it down. And it shows like the flawed part of his character, and then also someone that's suddenly the victim of one of the most like insane crimes of the 20th century. And it's just he was basically just swept into this horror show of not even being able to like process it without LAPD and photographers and the press were like, the minute he went in to see this crime scene of his wife and unborn child, like everybody was there watching it. And like I think there's a Rolling Stone photographer that's taking the picture, and like that famous picture of him sitting there on the front stoop with Pig behind it, scrolling his wife's blood, like that was like, he didn't say do that. He was just sitting there and the guy snapped that photo. So there's a lot of like, and again, I agree, he's no perfect human being and he's definitely fucked up. But again, it's that unprecedented amount of trauma on your life and one of the most insane crimes of the entire 20th century that like, I don't know, like there's just, it's not as black and white to me. Like, and that's why it would be a really fascinating TV series to really do the research and really show all angles of this. And then if you want to hate him at the end, whatever, like I'm in the middle too, where like part of it's like, it's disgusting. And then part of it's like, can you imagine having that, like getting that phone call and coming home to that, and that you can't even process it without these
and he even says in his book, when he is saying goodbye to her, he has this premonition as she turns and walks away that it would be the last time he says that he immediately like shuts it down and is like, don't be stupid, and immediately like, brushes it away. But, unfortunately it happened to be true, so epic creepy. By the way, I like that movie. I saw just recently, The Ninth Gate. It was another one of his movies.
It's a great movie. I love that movie.
Well, I just realized that the girl in it, the hot chick, is his wife. The one who takes part in the orgy. Yeah, I was like, oh, go Roman. He gets all the ladies. And in saying that, I'm going to say something that people will come for me for. But in Once Upon a Time for Hollywood, I do not like Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. I'm sorry, I don't.
I agree. I 100% agree. I think I
saw interviews. Yeah, I saw interviews with her, and I think she's beautiful. She in still photographs, I think she nailed her look, but in the character herself, I didn't like her, and I didn't think that was what she was like. Maybe that's just me.
I totally agree. No, you're right, because again, you read that book, Polanski, and if you read any book, and I don't know what Tarantino did, but like I know he did his research, but even he met her sister and he had coffee with her and dinner with the sister, and I get that, but like she was not just like there's so much more going on in her life up to the point of her murders. She was very, very upset, depressed. She knew Polanski was cheating on her. There was such a deeper role there for Tarantino to write for her and for Margot Robbie that I thought was really a misfire. And I was really fucking pissed. And again, we going off on cinema tonight. Like the hack job that I hate in that movie is that there's no director in the world. If I were to film a movie of someone watching their feet while watching them on screen, everyone will walk out. That is one of the worst scenes in movie history.
It is unnecessary.
I'm sorry.
The only thing I liked about that is they used real footage from her real movie.
Yeah,
but I thought the feet were overdone. I'm not a feet fetish girl. I did have a guy, oh my God, off topic. I had a guy when I was like, I don't know, 23. I had a guy come up to me in a supermarket and asked to take pictures of my feet. I'm not even joking. Wow. He was like, you have the most beautiful feet. I was like, oh my God.
Was it Tarantino? Wow, okay. It was probably Tarantino, right?
If it had been Tarantino, I would have been like, yes, sir, let's do it right now. I would be like, what foot do you want? You want both? I mean, yeah, I'd probably, I love Tarantino.
After that, there's nothing wrong with a foot fetish, but looking back on all of Tarantino's films now, I've rewatched a lot of them recently, and you pick up on that stuff knowing that about
I know. Before you never knew. You know what I heard recently is that he was wanting to do, and I'm just like, why? He wanted to do and has written a script for the backstory of the character of the Gimp in Pulp Fiction, which I'm like, my God.
I would watch that. I
actually kind of would. How fucked up are we that we would watch it? I'm kind of like, well, I do kind of want to know how this guy ended up in a Gimp situation. How does anyone? It can't be good. So like the whole way that and the details that he gave us were so juicy because I was like, tell me more. So apparently it was like an executive guy who comes in to pawn something and somehow and I love it. I'm like, oh my God, tell me this guy's horrible story. And I'm sure he's going through horrible butt rape in the thing down there. But anyway, I was intrigued by this. And I don't know if he's gonna go through with it, but Tarantino, we hear at Last Roundup, what show think you could.
I was one of his lost films. He talked about having Travolta's Vincent Vega and his brother Madsen, right? Victor Vega, and them having a. I mean, I would read a comic. I would watch an animated movie. Anything about them as brothers.
I would see.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. I read that back in the 90s when he was blown up that he was thinking of doing like something like that, or like he wanted to do a whole bunch of movies where the Vega brothers meet the Wolfman and like even do like the universe.
Cool.
I was like, go for it. Like just do it for like fun with your own money. Like make a 30-minute version of that. I'm sure Madsen and Travolta would do it. Like why not?
Harvey Keitel as the Wolfman.
I love it. And you know what? I have another theory that people also disagree with. Okay, so everybody, true romance is great, right? We all love, I love true romance. I absolutely do. I'm here for it. It's one of my favorites. But I'm going to say something. I think Jackie Brown is a better love story. I do. I love Jackie Brown. I could see Elliot's disgust. I love Jackie Brown. I think Jackie Brown is such a beautiful love story. I think it's so poignant. Every time it's on, I watch it. I love it.
Well, I think I hate love stories, but as far as
that's my goes, kind. Yeah,
no, they are both Jackie Brown, Robert Forster, and Pam Grier, and Patricia Arquette and Christian Slater. Yeah, I mean they're both great love stories. If you're into that, yeah.
I think Jackie Brown. I mean, I think I was 20 years old, and I remember having a horrible flu that Christmas, and I was starting to feel somewhat better, and said, "Fuck, I gotta go see something," and I went to the movies. And definitely Jackie Brown as a filmmaker, it was definitely a transformative like experience where it was like, I love what he did. Like he went away from the hysterical side of like his first two movies. It was more grounded. I just gotten into John Cassavetes and Wim Wenders and like that more grounded like reality that's not so over top and like you feel the weariness of the adult life and you feel it's like The Criminals, but it's exhausted. It's not glamorous. Like I love all that about Jackie Brown. But the one thing I hate about Jackie Brown is the friggin' heist in the department store is just Tarantino doing his thing, and it's useless.
I think it's so brilliant. I love it. I think it's brilliant.
I hate it. That's what I just don't agree with that scene at all.
Well, I mean, I can see where you're coming from there, but and when Jackie Brown on repeated viewings, I think it gets better. And for me only, it's because of the individual performances and the like Michael Keaton and De Niro and Bridget Fonda and Sam Jackson. Those performances do it for me more than the story does, I think.
I agree. I love Bridget Fonda's performance in that. She's so good at that. No way. Yeah. Oh my God, she's so fucking annoying. Yeah. But so hot. She's so hot.
Oh,
That's arguably her hottest role. I love her so much more. I think she's so much hotter in that role than single white female. I don't get when people are like, oh my gosh, she's so hot. I'm like, have you seen Jackie Brown? Like, she's fucking Jackie Brown. That was the movie I saw where I was like, okay, I need to get in a tanning bed ASAP. Because this bitch is burning it, you know, because like she's so tan and gorgeous and she's in her little bikini, like half the thing. And then I became her for a while because I literally sat around in a bikini smoking weed like 24 hours out of like my 20s, like for like a good 3 years. So I was kind of her for a little bit, except for like having a dealer boyfriend, you know?
I can see you playing her part in a remake of Jackie Brown.
I could totally do that, man. I'm like, you know,
you can pull it off.
I'm 800 years old, but you know, so I'll do it.
I want to see her character from that and Brad Pitt's character from True Romance together smoking weed all day.
Awesome. That would be awesome.
That would be a
great movie.
Current day.
That's probably my favorite role of Brad Pitt's, to be honest. I love this stoner. I love it. I like the part when he's like, what does he say? The guys come when he's like, you can come smoke one. He's like, don't condescend me, man. I love that. That was like my favorite part.
Don't condescend me, man.
Don't condescend me, man. That's like my favorite part. I'll say that 50 million times a day. That's my favorite role.
That was Tony Soprano that was at the door, right?
Oh my God, the beat down scene with Patricia Arquette. That girl takes a beating. I know it's not real, but you feel like it's real. Oh my God. When he slams her in the bathroom.
She gets him with the toilet seat, the toilet bowl.
Yeah. And Patricia Arquette, her whole like vibe in that, when I was like 13 years old and I saw that the first time, I was like, that's a good look. I'm gonna go with that. I like that. It clashes, it's loud. Oh my God. What about the Christopher Walken scene with I'm not even the N-word scene?
Your ancestors are niggers. Hey. Yeah. And your great grandmother fucked a nigger. Oh, yeah. And she had a half nigger kid. Now, if that's a fact, tell me, am I lying? 'Cause you're part eggplant.
One of the
greatest pieces of
20th century
ever.
cinema. It really is.
Oh my God.
Top five pieces of dialogue between two actors.
Yeah.
The first time I saw that, I was like, where are they going with this? And when he hits that end line and Christopher Walken's face, oh my God, it should have got an Oscar right then and there. Stop it. Give him an Oscar.
I agree.
I love that. That's one of my favorites.
You're right. And it's like, like today, I was just going to say today, it's like amazing to tie into what we're going to talk about is like the cinema then. It's like I took a lot for granted, but it's like to see today and see Skinamarink do whatever the hell that piece of shit was.
He's still mad about it.
It's like the level of like craftsmanship, like even if you don't like these movies from those years, it's like there was so much more craftsmanship and detail and passion from Tarantino's screenplay to Tony Scott's director. Like it's just missing today. And then to tie into what we were talking about, like Fire in the Sky, which I just saw recently, and we're going to talk about. Like Fire in the Sky today. It's just like that movie is like it's like almost should be in the Criterion Collection because there's no movie today that compares to it. Like this rooted small town drama about a best friend who has his friend go missing, and then it's based on a true story. And I've seen the pictures at the UFO Museum in Roswell, and that's even more creepy to see. Like how this is really certifiably true. And it's like, but that movie is just so well done and so dramatic. And then it gives you that punch in those 15 minutes of this UFO ship that is probably some of the best 15 minutes in sci-fi history of like an alien abduct. Like, and Robert Patrick, I mean, we could go on forever. And my friend Kevin Healy was just saying he's like an action film, historian. Like, it is one of his best performances, and it's a shame. Like, he should have become a leading man in Hollywood and not just Copland and whatever. Like, he should have become much bigger because Fire in the Sky is his movie, and D.B. Sweeney is, Travis Walton. But Fire in the Sky is Robert Patrick, and it's showing, like, I'm not a Terminator, And it really is a shame that he should have had a lot better of a career from it.
Okay, now it is time for Trailer Trash with John Paul.
Well,
How's it
Happy
going,
New
John
Year's,
Paul?
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo, we're excited. So, new year, new me, new you. I decided to be nice and treat you to 2 new movies and 1 classic goodie.
Okay.
That I watched on Christmas because, that's what I do. I watch up fucked up movies on Christmas. So, the first one I want to start off with, I'm just going to read this description. A militant alien race launches attack on Earth using galactic creatures and global disasters, all based on creatures found in the Asylum movie channel, because that's the only signal that they got. So roll this beautiful footage. This is 2025 Armageddon.
This is a near-Earth object on approach. I repeat.
We've lost ISS.
Inbound, unidentified, submerged, hostile. All stations, open fire! Open fire!
What is that?
There have been similar sightings over Los Angeles, New York.
Does anyone have any idea where this thing originated from?
We're being attacked by monsters from movies on this list. The Asylum title's from the top down.
Oh, my God.
It's these drones that are creating these creatures.
These things are...
This movie was made for me.
My dude's in it. I gotta see
Just
it.
attacked New York.
Michael Bure.
Lives of millions of people hanging in the balance here.
You got the Transmorphers, definitely, right?
Oh, they're all on there.
Croctopus.
Sharknado.
Wow, that looks just goddamn horrible. Just,
That looks hilarious.
just goddamn
I gotta
terrible.
watch it.
Yes.
I gotta watch it.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, new year, new me, right?
I guess. Wow. That's fucked up.
Yeah. So this next entry, I just watched 2 nights ago, and I fucking love this. Your finest in Swiss exploitation. Swiss little girl Heidi is abducted by a brutal government troop. She must defend herself and fight in a war against cheese-filled hate and tyranny. This is Mad Heidi. Look at all the awards this won. All of them.
Switzerland.
It won all of the awards.
Beautiful mountains, delicious cheese, and of course,
Mountains and cheese. I like it so far.
I love you, baby girl.
I love you, baby girl.
nothing yet.
Dear citizen, today we shall celebrate Switzerland's new order. Gentlemen, world domination. To world domination.
This man has been charged with the production of illegal dairy products.
Oh, wow. That's fun right there.
Now, the girl from the Alps is back. With a vengeance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is...
Get ready
this is
for
me.
action. Beautiful Swiss girls.
Beautiful Swiss girls.
Honors. And, of course, fondue boarding.
Oh, yeah.
Peace in the morning.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, man.
Only good cheese is fried
Coming for you, you fucking bastard!
She's one badass Heidi. She's
Mad Heidi.
Oh, my God. That seems like a fucking parrot would have been a stay tuned.
Oh for 2. Oh, for 2.
Oh, no. I almost want to just buy that.
That's a blind buy for Frank. Frank's like, what's got below cake written all over it?
Those effects look fucking fun to me, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm doing pretty good. So,
Sloppy.
So got to go back to my classic. Got to go back to Uncle Lloyd. Like I said, I watched this on Christmas. I don't know why, but I said, "What the fuck? I'm gonna watch this," because I watched the first one. So Return of Nukem High, Volume 2.
Where did you watch this at, by the way? Because I own the first part, but is it available strict free somewhere?
Plex has it for free.
What the fuck is that?
Plex is a little fun thing that has a whole bunch of free stuff. Like it's kind of like Tubi, but they have a fair amount of trauma stuff on there. So yeah, just following the events of the first one, you get the second one with lesbians and Lemmy, the last appearance of Lemmy before his death, and a fun cameo of Stan Lee before his death as well.
Got him in there.
Yeah, so.
Whoa.
Hey now.
Whoa.
Yeah, hey.
Hey.
Wait a minute.
Gonna kill myself tonight.
Whoa, I'm gonna have to do a little editing there, huh?
There's a worse trailer than this one.
Oh, I saw that one.
That's why I sent you this one.
It was it was like 3 or 4 minutes. The one I saw that was like
and
it was really explicit.
Yeah. I sent you the non-explicit one.
As always, I will pass. Thank you.
Oh, the first one, the first return was really fun. There's a whole duck thing that happens that's just trauma as fuck.
They continue the story. I mean,
well, that's you have to.
You have to. And President Lemmy is wonderful in it. So yeah. So like I think I did really good this time. You all can't stand it except one.
I like
I want to buy the second two.
I figured Mad Heidi, would be up there with everybody's liking, because
I know what to expect. Bad CG, so get over that. And let's see what it looks like.
Look, Casper Van Diem still has a career. I don't know how, but he still has a career.
Sci-Fi Channel and Asylum love him, man. Go get it. Go get it, Rico. Go get it.
That's right. That's right.
Well, it's been fun as always, Jean-Paul.
Now get out.
Get out of here. We'll see you next month.
Three.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm fading. I'm fading.
Started the new year off bad.
Then I've won. Then I've successfully
done
what I did.
Right where you left off.
Nailed it.
I nailed it.
Nailed
All right, have fun, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see ya.
See ya.
Do you believe the story? Do y'all believe it? Do you believe Travis
Absolutely.
Walton's story?
Yeah.
I do too. Do you know he's never wavered on his story, and all of them except for one, I think, who came back. I don't think it came back wrong, but all of them tested positive for their lie detector test, and none of them have ever wavered. And I think the one just came out where they couldn't tell if he was lying or not. So they've all stayed with the same story. It's so fucking scary. It's so effing scary.
Yeah.
So that's one of the scary. That and Communion are two.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Christopher Walken, right? Yeah.
I love Christopher Walken. Okay, in anything, by the way, in anything. But yeah, he may have had a hand in Natalie Wood's death. Okay, so we all.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's good because Lisa, because you know your shit, and that is like. People don't even know that side of
him. He might have just stayed quiet, and let things lie as they were.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. But he's a great actor, so we can't let it go. But yeah, Communion. But Fire in the Sky. Okay, that potato alien, the one that's got like the potato face.
Oh my god, yeah.
And when they're like getting ready to probe him, and it like does the little look over, and it's like, oh my god, that thing haunted my dreams for the longest time. The potato face thing.
The latex with when the jelly in the mouth and then the eye gets split and the needle coming in and
On the eyeball. Yeah, like your worst nightmare. And then if you hear his real story, it's like 10 times more terrifying. So apparently there's these humanoid people that he say come in and talk to him that look like humans, talk like humans, but he the eyes were weird and like they didn't blink and shit. So I think that would have been an even creepier part to put in the movie. But I like the way they executed it. The acting is just spot on, though.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. They get that, like, weird mountain vibe, you know, that inner, you know, with the hysteria at the small town and everybody's upset and who's lying, who's not. You know, I think they nailed it, you know, very well in that movie.
I mean, and all of them really. And I know, just to bring it back to kind of horror, because I know we're all into that, but and I looked up the cast before, but I think Bradley Gregg is in this, and from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the one that got his, you know, the puppet master.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And Patricia Arquette, who we were just talking about in Nightmare 3. So those two, we can tie that back into horror too.
Wow.
Oh, and Nightbreed, of course.
I love Nightbreed. Oh my god. I just have to watch Nightbreed again. I'm so glad you reminded me of that. I love Nightbreed.
Craig Sheffer.
Who's Craig Sheffer in Fire in the Sky? Which character?
He's the like the manly one that's like, I ain't dealing with this shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow, you know
that's so cool.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that connection.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that guy, but I had to look it up just to see the cast right before we got on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you go to the Roswell UFO Museum, which I recommend whether you love or hate. It's so disturbing and mind-blowing. And there's a whole section on Travis Walton, and there's a plethora of newspaper clippings, the police report, all this stuff, his sketches of what they look like. And it is just like, it's just like hands down to me, like from what you see in that museum under the display case, I just believe it definitely happened. And again, like you said, they signed all these affidavits and the lie detectors. Like, it just makes too much sense. And like you said, Lisa, it goes in the UFO museum. There's more of like going into detail of how he escaped, and like you see the 1975 like clipping from Arizona and New Mexico that are talking about this story. Like, it's really like chilling to see. Like, holy shit! Like.
And the thing with that is too, I'm a huge, UFO buff too. And the thing with that is, with all those details and all those factual things and the lie detectors, even if it was some sort of a black ops thing that a government put on, it still is something that could have physically happened to these people. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't believe in something extraterrestrial or something spiritual, you still could have a physical, military operation. You never know. So it could have been any, across the gamut. It's possible.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the movie, there's like that quick second, like in every UFO case in the history of the world, history of America, obviously a lot of Native American grounds are powerful, supernatural. Yeah. So there's like a quick shot where like they're looking for Travis and they see a Native American in the distance, and it's like then he disappears, and it's not a ghost. It's just like they're wandering into that part of like Native American territory, and it's like it's just amazing. Again, those little things the movie does so nuanced that are like collective of so many UFO stories and the connection to Native Americans and these parts of the world, and it's just, and then like again, I watched it recently, like I was telling Lisa, and then I'm now starting to look into like SkinWalker Ranch, like that's such another world of like what is going on there, like that's insanity. I'm terrified, but I'll go there with you, Lisa. Like that, I'll spend the night and
I'd go.
We'll go check it out.
I'll go in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'd go.
I would do, man, because that's like, what the hell is going on there?
Did you see that video that the guy has where he's and it could be faked. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's really creepy nonetheless. But like, it's two dudes driving in a car, and there's a guy that looks like he's off in the shrubbery, and they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" And like, he could be just on meth, but like, he literally, it is like the creepiest way that he moves and like it speaks back to them. And the weird thing is, as they get ready to go, he starts running on like all fours, and it's such a creepy video. And like, these guys swear that this is legitimate, and like, it very well could just be a guy on drugs. But there's something about the way the guy moves and the fact that it was near the SkinWalker Ranch that makes it so creepy.
Well, I think that's a part of why I would go to that and to a
Me too. I totally would as well.
I mean, I know these. and I know we all absorb and watch those videos, and some of them we want to know they're real, and some of them we want to believe they're real. But I want it to happen, even though it'd be terrifying, and I'd probably shit my pants. But it would be, it'd be like I want to know that badly. So I don't know.
Here's the thing about the Skinwalker thing. Again, just being a historian, where it's like you deep dive with history and like whatever I'm writing on, or like if you want to get into history, like when you get into land deals and the real estate value and the contracts, like it's such a part of when you start to really deep dive into historical events. And that's what's interesting about Skinwalkers, that there's some really significant, really strange land deals that are being done over the last 10 years of mega corporations and government contracted. Like there's just too much weird real estate. When you follow the real estate trail, there's definitely has to be something going on there, that the government is connected to some of these property sales, and that, like, it just says that there's definitely something powerful going on there that they're trying to contain. And the guy that went into the History Channel TV show they did on it, like he gave up and sold it, and the people he sold it to have government connections. Like just when you look at that paper trail, it's like something's going on there, because having the government involved, like there's got to be something shady happening that's supernatural or Black Ops connected. Like that's why, like, let's go, let's book it, Airbnb, Skinwalker.
Right. And what's the Blink 182 guy? Tom DeLonge. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've followed this stuff forever, and then all of a sudden this happens, and then it kind of goes quiet, and it's really, I don't know. It's confusing to me. I want to believe things, and I want to, I know a lot of things, like you guys, I'm sure, have, figured out the things that can be verified versus what's just being said. But I don't know. It's all confusing. I'm willing to experience it, though.
That's what I mean. It's like when you have so many these huge land deals with Skinwalkers, when you look up that, and that like when those are facts, and you can research that and see that, like that just says to me that there's something going on, man. To have like government connected realtors and whatever suddenly jumping into these things that
Isn't
they want
there like a term for that, like the 411 theory or something? Something like that. It's something about that, right? Because it's like that specific land or something where all these weird phenomena, missing, disappearances, and things like that happen. Strange things happen. And also, from what I understand, there's also like architectural phenomena that they can't explain. And it's like the way that I can't quite explain it all. I'm not doing it justice, but I know what you're talking about. It's creepy.
No, you're right. It's like they jumped into it so quickly, like before the History Channel show and after, like that the deals to buy the property did then suddenly fall under these very weird government titles that keep like the public from like coming around, and like just make it more and more like private and because it's like it just shows that there's something going on, that like someone's becoming more and more aware of that this is like a really big hot spot of everything going on. Alien, supernatural, whatever, that like we need to start making this more and more private from the public, because they're trying to contain something. Like that's, I'm not being like paranoid, but like you do the research, it's just too weird, because you don't see a million people buying up Amityville and all these other places. Like to have like these government connected like properties have been buying Skinwalker Ranch.
It's so epic creepy. God knows what they're all doing.
Suddenly there's more gates up and there's more no trespass. It's just like, it's just too weird.
It is too weird. Yeah, that's totally creepy. Yeah, I would not want to live anywhere near Skinwalker Ranch, but I would definitely stay the night. As long as I knew like an Uber was coming to get my ass, or I had a rent-a-car ready to go. And, I'm not for any funny shit. So like the first time something like a doppelganger or something like that came up looking like me, I'd be out. I'd be like, get you on my cell phone, put your ass on TikTok, and out, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I know. You're right. I guess, I don't know. I would have to visit. Yeah, I like to go visit. It'd be interesting to see what happens, but I wouldn't do it alone. I would have to be with somebody. And you're right. The minute anything fucked up happens, I'm like you said,
I was with a bunch of people one time. We were going to go look. There was this thing called, my grandpa lived in Montgomery, Alabama. And a lot of slavery stuff happened there. Like the whole freaking civil rights movement happened there. And so in this very particular place, it's called 13 Bridges. And the reason is because the Underground Railroad was underneath it. And there were 13 bridges that they had to kind of look for as landmarks. And a lot of people passed between those bridges. So you're supposed to go park at the end and wait to see a ghost. So we go out there at night, not thinking anything's going to happen. We wait an hour, bored as can be. And I'll never forget this. I was like pissed off, bored, and I'm like, I had to pee at this point. So I'm like, I'm not going to want to go in the, haunted goddamn woods to go pee. So I'm like, well, let's get the fuck, let's go. I get out of the car, I step in front, and I was like, well, we're not going to see anything. And right about the time I said that, it looked like, the only way I can explain it is like, it looked like people had flashlights going like this. And I literally like had that fight or flight reaction, and I was so terrified. But there's no way or no reasoning why anybody would have been out there in the middle of the night.
Wow.
That people don't hunt out there, nothing like that happened. So yeah, that was, for me, it was all fun and games until that happened. When that happened, I was like, we're out, let's go. That's enough. Like, everyone pack up the car. Lisa wasn't fucking around. I was starting it up. I was like, anybody who wants to stay, you can stay, but I am out. This bitch is gone,
So many people. Let's see what everybody thought of Terror Train 2022. Summary for this film: it follows a college student as she boards a party train for Halloween and ends up fighting for her life when a mysterious assailant begins killing the people one by one. Directed by Felipe Gagnon. Gagnon? How do you say that?
Gagnon.
Gagnon.
Gag on it.
Gagnon.
Gag on it. Shut up.
And old Felipe also directed Terror Train 2, which came out immediately after this. It's already a sequel.
For us with Terror Train.
I'll
check it out, though. I'll still check it out.
Probably will watch it too.
Written by Ian Carpenter and Aaron Martin, who both worked on the TV show Slasher, as well as the sequel to this film. And Aaron Martin wrote 67 episodes of Degrassi: The Next Generation. So
not exactly a lightweight.
Not exactly. Jason, did they release this? Do you have information?
No tagline. And then of course there's no physical release. It's a Tubi original with number 2 on deck.
Yeah. Shit. Randy, hit us with your thoughts. You picked
right.
this. This is your fault.
This one's on me. Like I said, I was going through Tubi and I thought, hey, they're remaking Terror Train. Why not give it a watch, right? Oh boy. Yeah, slow setup. CGI blood, dull edge blades. Where do I start? Basically, everything about this screams, I wrote Degrassi High. So it's that generic dialogue. Yeah, you eating a sandwich there, Frank? All right. It's generic dialogue. Some of the worst special effects and kills for a slasher film I've ever seen. I mean, it's shockingly bad. I mean, I didn't hate the main actress. I liked her quite a bit, but if she's outshining everyone around her, I mean, I haven't seen her in anything. So, she's the most talented person in this cast. I don't know what else to say, nice or not.
Talent by association.
Yeah. I hated everything about this, most of it anyways. The only nice things I could say is I really like those exterior train shots. Those
were they CGI though? Were they CGI?
Don't know. I mean, there were a couple of decent parts had they have been better kills, like where did the budget go for this thing? You know what I mean? Like,
what
you're
budget?
telling me, yeah, exactly. You're making a movie based on a cult classic, and you're gonna fucking scrimp on actual, knife work for your film, for your slasher movie. What the fuck? I was laughing so hard when they were stabbing that girl in the train in the lay down part of the car, because you could see the knife retracting. I could see it.
But that first kill was pretty good, though. I thought that looked pretty good.
That one was all right. I mean, it was okay. For this, yes, it was the best one out of all of them, probably. I hated the twist. They did the pretty much the same idea from the original, but just done a little differently. I hated everything about this. It was as if I was watching a stage production of a movie I kind of liked, like from the 80s. So yeah, or whenever the original Terror Train came out. I don't have that. So yeah, I gotta say, I did not care for this one. This was my bad. I'm very sorry. I'll try to make it up to you next go round. I gave this a 3 out of 10.
Right on. Who wants to go next?
Go for it, John.
All right. So I was never a fan of the original at all. Just okay, Jamie Lee Curtis, slasher on a train, David Copperfield. Okay,
Right.
whatever. Didn't do much for me. But I watched this. It was a Tubi original. It wasn't the worst slasher ever. I knew it was like $0 budget. They could just ask those kids for volunteers. It was, I mean, it's really, really hard to be original with a slasher. Everything has been done. Like, you really got to go outside the box. So it's a Tubi original slasher. Think about it. What do you think you're getting? All right.
Yeah, complete
lower expectation. Right. So, all right, cool. Party on the train. We're back on the train again. Hence the movie. I didn't think we were talking about a model train. Like, it was okay. I expected CG blood. Kills weren't terrible. They weren't as, even with CG wise, they weren't as gory as they should have been. If you're gonna, come on. If you're gonna just go for the gusto with CG blood, you might as well go. It's just a couple clicks on the mouse and on the plus sign. Add blood spray. That's all it is. That's all it is, guys.
I would have liked it better if it had just way more CGI blood.
Right. It's like it might as well have.
Yeah.
The main chick, she was a good actress, I guess. As far, like I said, temper expectations. I didn't hate the twist. But, because I want to say I've seen that lady in other things. I feel like she was the sheriff in Signs, the woman.
I looked her up and I didn't see anything.
It wasn't? All right.
I didn't see anything that I recognized her from.
Okay. All right.
Because I thought the same thing. I was like, she's been a mom or she's been a fucking.
Because she was like the best actress in the thing. I thought. Like, she was the best actor out of all of them. So she's been doing it for a while. If you want to watch it. If not, you ain't gonna miss nothing. Right? Like, that's all I got. That's all I got. I gave it a 3. I gave it a 3 only because it wasn't the worst slasher that I've ever.
It wasn't Titanic 666. I'll at least.
It was. Yeah,
the bar is so low.
Dude, just take a big step over it. That's all you got to do.
It's crazy too, because look at Tubi's catalog of horror films. They got a ton of great movies on there.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think they'd fucking know what they were doing at some point.
It's all about the money, dude. They probably gave them nothing. It had to have been. They're like, we're gonna give you like $100,000. Like,
yeah, we already had to get the rights to the title,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the budget went. The rights. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Jason.
So I made the mistake of Anne was going to watch this one with me. So, and she had never seen the original. So I made the mistake of we watched the original first, and then we went right into this. Not that the original is a masterpiece, but I do own it. It definitely is. I don't know. Have we rated that before?
No. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that since I was a kid.
Haven't done that?
No.
Well,
you may be remembering a scene from 1031 that had a similar. Was it 1031 Part 2 or 1031 Part 1? There was a similar mask in the roller skating rink.
No. I know what I'm thinking of. That where the devil is on a train.
Oh, god damn it. What was
that movie?
It
don't matter.
Yeah. that terrible movie.
No. So yeah, we watched the original and then we watched this, and I like the original. So going into this, probably judged it a bit more hard. No, that's not true. No, this is just as bad regardless of whether I watched the original first or not. The production wise, I thought it was going to be kind of like, it's close, but sci-fi looking, sci-fi budget, like a sci-fi original movie. And that's kind of what this played off as. And then all of a sudden, and my youngest is watching this with us, all of a sudden that dude's pounding her on the train. And that like came out of nowhere. Like this came as like a TV movie the whole time, and then they just randomly throw.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to avoid showing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the way I thought it was going.
Yeah, and then they
I never expected that at all. It just pops up on the screen. But I mean, he's seen it before.
That's the best day of his life so far.
Yeah, it ended the night well. I know that. I don't know what to say. Everything about it's kind of disappointing. It's not like there was ever a really amazing storyline, but they found some way to kind of make that. As soon as I saw that woman, like I called it. Like I knew what the twist was going to be. So like they didn't even have the story. I don't know. In Terror Train, I didn't know who was the killer in the first one. This one, I called this right from the get go. But I'm with you guys. I would say a 3. I say don't bother wasting your time watching it. There was what was another. We watched. I mean, I have to now.
Yeah, like
I'm going to. I'm gonna.
I gotta see too. I gotta see how this.
Gotta see what happens.
Is that magician looking all blue steel and shit? Like
we did. Wasn't there one Tubi original that we did that was halfway decent?
Hellblazers.
Yeah, like Meg Foster and stuff.
Hellblazers.
Was good. Yeah, so I don't know. For whatever reason, I was expecting more. I don't know why.
Because it was, Terror Train is kind of a classic. It's like I put it in that category.
It's up there with the slashers, but it's kind of on that. It's like the bottom of the first tier slashers.
So you would expect more, but I almost wish I would have watched the original because I haven't seen that since I was a kid, and I think my opinion of it was skewed by us only having like 6 channels. So like you run across Terror Train on a Sunday on ABC or whatever, you're like, oh, holy shit, this is great.
what I'm doing on my day.
Yeah, so like I may not like it at all today, So
I don't know if I mean it's not great, but it's a 7 for me.
It gets a big pass.
This is a 3.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I really like the original one. I didn't think
the
it was
conductor
great,
in that one. I really like the conductor in the first one too. Whatever that guy's name is, he's good.
Well, and the magician's David Copperfield, right? You can get that.
Yeah, but I don't think he was very popular.
Prominent.
I mean, obviously.
No, he was coming up. That was right before he got.
Yeah, good luck getting him after he makes the Statue of Liberty disappear. You're not getting
that. He performed everything. Like he came up with the skits that they needed.
Yeah, the magician in this one had some kind of hokey magic shop tricks.
Yeah, he was like da, 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 da.
He was the male eye.
Yeah. But there's I like you guys, I had a lot of problems with this. Started out with right off the beginning, there's these college guys, these frat guys. I thought this was really outdated. Like I almost was like, what year is this? Until later on there's cell phones and shit. But because like hazing frat guys, does that happen still? Like, are these guys, and the funny thing I thought was they all had Letterman jackets on that had no fucking letters on them. There was no buttons, there was no badges. They were completely clean. These fucking dudes didn't accomplish shit. They didn't get a pin. They didn't get any little pilot wings or a Cub Scout badge. Nothing. Just tropey fucking teen villain jackets. And hated that. Hated all the frat shit. Like, and it made me think that the guys that wrote the movie think frats are like really cool. Like they were really cool. And now that they're not really a thing.
One line that sticks out, that they asked a girl for something or something like that. And she goes, "No, I left it at the frat house." Like,
yeah.
You don't talk like that.
Yeah.
You either just say house or
frat house.
home.
How else would you know?
I left it back at the frat house.
Yeah.
Something they did kind of do better with this one than the original. In the original, they take the train ride. It's a party. It's a New Year's party, but they're all dressed up. I'm like, these guys made it a Halloween party. Yeah, I was like,
yeah, that's right. It was
up for New Year's.
Well, they did that in trading
Halloween.
places too. Remember, trading places.
I always thought that
were,
was out of place for some reason, but it was hilarious.
Evidently, people dress up on New Year's. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought they made the annoying guy extra fucking annoying in this thing. Like he dies real quick. Like he's dead within the first 13 minutes of this fucking movie, but not soon enough. They ramped him up, and then after that human boner dies, his Asian buddy picks up the mantle of being the irritating fuckface and is also dispatched rather quickly. So it's not really like it carries on. I was expecting it to keep going though. Like the next person that, finds that dude or whatever is the dickhead and then he gets killed. But the magician was played by Tim Rosen. Did anybody recognize him from anything?
No.
Dude, for half the movie, I thought he was the guy from True Blood that played.
He does look kind of like that. But I was like, what do I know him from? It's from Schitt's Creek. Have you seen Schitt's Creek?
Yeah. Okay.
Remember Mutt, the hippie guy?
That's
Mutt?
him? Okay. Yeah.
He looks real rough.
Yeah.
And evidently what happened is he was on Schitt's Creek, and then he got an offer to go on some show called Winona Earp or something like that and be like a star of it.
Yeah.
So he went and moved over there, and then I guess Schitt's Creek became like, he should have probably just stayed over there. That's probably why it looks like shit in this movie. Made bad choices. But yeah, I think that there was a few other actors I looked at everybody's IMDb. A few other people were on Letterkenny and some other stuff we've seen. The one girl was on several episodes of Letterkenny. I think that the few good actors that are in this and it seems like the filmmakers were a very apt hired crew. Like they came in there just like, all right, let's fucking, like, we know how to shoot a movie and
polish this turd.
They know how to make a product. So they were hired to come in and do it, and they did it. I really wish that we could have a modern horror movie where nobody takes a selfie. Like nobody fucking does it. Because when's the last time you've seen a horror movie where someone did not take a selfie? And then think about the last time you saw somebody do it in real life. It happens so in my life anyways. It's so infrequent that you see that. Maybe it's just because I'm not in places where people want to take selfies. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe do you guys see selfies being taken a lot?
Sometimes
I do.
Several times.
It's not my deal.
But it definitely seemed like the writers were kind of writing themselves into the frat guys, because they were saying a lot of weird shit about like millennial kind of things, like that's the way things used to be before snowflake whatever. And there was one really weird line that the frat guy says to the girl about women or something like that. Like if I said that to a woman and she wasn't even fucking talking about it, it seemed like they were just inserting their own 50-year-old opinions, Gen X, like angry Gen X guy opinions into, I don't know. It seemed weird, man. There was like a lot of fucked up things that were outdated that the frat guys were saying. And then the other side was like coming, you know what I'm saying? Did anybody pick up on that at all?
Yeah,
I just thought it was bad dialogue.
It's very badly written. That's the worst part about it.
The writing ain't great.
It's derivative in every single way, and I don't think that they even paid any sort of tribute to the original film whatsoever. It seemed like they just shit on it. Bought the title and shit on it. I think this is a glass of water. You're not going to stop anybody from drinking it. You're not going to recommend it. 4 out of 10. That's all I can give it.
Someone will like it.
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
I hope so, because they made 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe 2 will be better.
well, maybe it'll answer all the questions you have.
Yeah, all the questions.
All the lingering questions. Like, did that
all the plot holes.
live? Yeah.
All the questions that keep you up at night are answered.
Wait a minute. Who was in the reptile costume?
How did he do that magic trick?
Where did the body go whenever she came back to the bathroom? Like, really just dig down. Like, our podcast is just that movie now.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
By the way, I want to tell everybody about it. I saw a zombie movie that pissed me off. Me off. A thinking man. Where did our friend go, by the way? Are we missing one?
I don't know. Did Michael Myers get him?
Did we scare him away? We scared him away because we're so aggressive.
No, but maybe Michael Myers got him. Like, it's revenge from Halloween.
Elliot and I tend to get very excitable when we're on our topics. We get very excitable, the 2 of us. No, it was called The Night Man. No, what is it? The Night Eats the Earth. Okay. Did you see this?
No.
The only way I can explain this is like it was like a thinking man zombie movie. Like, we need that. This movie effing pissed me off on so many levels, and I feel like I must talk about it to cleanse myself of it. I went into it because the preview was awesome, and I'm like, this looks great. It was on Tubi. Like, the preview just looked great. It looked like 28 days later. Like, think like that. Okay. So, guy goes to a party, gets locked in a room, wakes up, and everybody's zombies. Okay, seems like a cool plot. Has to get out the apartment building, but how can you? Because the dead are all around you. Well, anyway, so it turns out this movie was almost like an hour and a half of my life I can't get back, of this guy making every mistake that you make. Like, the first being, like, he doesn't panic. He opens the door. He sees his girlfriend's a zombie, and he's like, oh, okay, so I better hunker down. So then he hunkers down. He finds a drum set, starts drumming, so then all the fucking zombies come. I mean, there's so many rookie mistakes. He hallucinates a friend in the house who isn't even there. At the end of it, he inadvertently sets fire to the very apartment building that is his only shelter from the more, mob of zombies out there. It was retarded. I hated it. I'm mad at anybody who made it. I just was so pissed off at the end of this movie. I was yelling the whole time at this dude, like, what the F are you doing? And then after you go through all this emotional turmoil, and no great zombies, by the way, like, the zombies they had far and few between. They sucked. There was like nothing really scary about them. And when finally you get to the scene at the end where he escapes the building, you think you're getting onto something, it ends. And I was like, oh, yeah, it pissed me off so bad. What kind of movie does that? It was like, not finishing, if you will, for you gentlemen, you know what I mean? It pissed me off. It gave me my horror version of Blue Balls.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, that's why Skinamarink didn't do whatever the hell that movie is.
That was bullshit. It was bullshit. Why do people think it's so scary? Is it just the way that it's shot with the jumpy camera work, or?
I think my misanthropic side is that humans are stupid, and I think like every reaction I've been seeing on like social media and Lisa wannabes trying to copy your style of like not doing even half the research or having half your intellect is like every review I'm seeing is quoting those first reviews of it's like he filmed my nightmares. So it's like. That first thing is like, wait a minute, your review is already including what people told you it was about before you saw it. And is like, are humans that much of sheep that like they go see a movie and they can't even sit there? This movie made me question a lot about reality right now because it's like.
I couldn't believe that it got the reviews that it got because it wasn't even that. You weren't engaged with it. I kept wanting to tap out. Like I knew that it was going to keep dragging in the same way that it was. Like, okay, we're in this vibe, we're staying in this vibe, and we're not getting out. I get it. So I wanted something to happen, and then it never happened. You know what I mean? It's like inadvertently watching a gay porno and being like, the girls never came. Like it's literally, that's what it was like to me. I keep seeing these dudes. I'm like, okay, well, where's the cheerleaders? Where's everybody? And they never come. You know what I mean? And so then you're like, oh, I'm watching a gay porno. Like that's what it was to me. So yeah, it sucked. I hated it.
because I lasted 30 minutes while laughing and wanting. I wanted to fart so that the whole theater heard me as an expression of my anger and distaste at this one of the most insulting films I've ever seen to a life of dedicating my life to making movies and my friends making movies with me and trying to get our stuff out there and making far better things and having festivals reject them. So there's so much anger, but like I gave it 30 minutes where the kids go, let's go downstairs. And then I was like, I'm fucking done. Like, does anything else happen in the movie? Spoilers.
No.
Does anything show up? Because there's so many moments to it where I was like, if something like jumped out right now, I would be screaming and I give this like a B+ at least. But I was like, it misses every opportunity. Plus, it is just like, it's horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It really wasn't. No, I guess he filmed it in his childhood home too. So what the reference with that is, I don't know.
I read that.
I don't know. And if that's like what it takes to scare the masses, like let me go grab a camcorder and, you know, put my little daughter wandering around at night and, you know, go make a freaking, you know, art house horror movie and be like, here you go, everybody. I'm changing the, you know, whole face of horror right now, you know, because it was, I did not like it. I did not like it. A lot of these horror movies, I'm not going to lie, they're lacking nowadays. We don't have what we used to have, dude. I just saw that they're coming out with like the Scream in Manhattan. And I saw the preview and I'm like, what the hell? How can we do this anymore? How can we do this with this guy now? And like, he's on a subway train. Are you effing kidding me? Like what the F? In this day and age, you wouldn't have phones up, you know, recording the guy. Done. He's caught, you know, over, you know, like that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's no kind of creativity anymore. And
there's
agree. Some good ones, some, you know.
No, you're right. Like Scream 6, I saw part of that preview and I'm like, this is transcending what Kevin Williamson was like intending when he wrote the thing. It was based on like, you know, it was a hometown trilogy of horror. And then there's like some Shakespearean like family bloodlines. And there's like, you know, he's got some layers to, even if you don't like every one of those original 3 movies, that's what it is. And it's like you said, it's like, this is ridiculous. This is not scary. This could not happen in New York City. And then it becomes like, what like, I don't even think that the filmmakers are educated enough as Wes Craven was because he's a professor of humanities at Potsdam College. Like, I don't even think they're saying anything about bodega tax or anything like that maybe could be there as a metaphor. It's just, to me, like, again, lazy, useless filmmaking of like, this is just trying to make another way to make another Scream than... I don't even know what the fuck happened in the last... Like, it was just such a horrible movie.
It was stupid, yeah. They just like, finally killed Dewey. That was it. It was lackluster.
Yeah, there's something like honestly, somebody like, is
within
Billy
the first
Voorhees'
10 minutes,
daughter,
I already
right?
knew. Yeah, I already knew who did it. Like when they did the one hospital shot, I already knew it was the guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's that guy. Like I knew immediately.
That's right. Yeah, Jack Wade,
you know?
whatever his name.
Yeah, I knew immediately. I was like, no girl has a boyfriend that nice. No way. You know, he's a douchebag. We all know it. It's over. You know, no. And then she wasn't giving up any pussy. So, you know he's the murderer. Then he's like, I'm just patient. I'll wait for you. Fuck that. You know, no guys like that, bitch. He's killing people. He's killing people, and we all fucking know it. You know, that's how I feel about that.
The girl that is one of the real life Spawn Manson killers in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She once again gets burned to life at the end of Scream. She's one of the killers. She's supposed to be one of the killers in all these scenes where the killer's like 6 foot, and it makes there's no physical way that she could have taken out Dewey or any of these things. Like at least in the first 3 Scream movies, the killer made physical sense when he revealed it. Like that person could have killed that person at the time. There's no way she could have overpowered like Dewey and all these people, and that's why I thought maybe it'll happen. But I thought like it would have made more sense for Matthew Lillard to have survived.
To come back? Now I would have loved that.
And come back 20 years later because we never saw
like
him
facial
die.
burns or something. Yeah, that would have been badass. Yeah. And this new one, they're bringing back the new girl, the girl, what's her name, Kirby or whatever, Hadian P.I. I don't know.
Wasn't she like the niece that tried to kill? Didn't she?
Yeah.
To
they're bringing
Sydney,
her back.
Or no?
So I'm not into it. Yeah, and guess there's no Nev Campbell in this one. How the F can you have a Scream with no Nev Campbell, no Sydney? Like the whole thing is based on Sydney. Yeah, they're not having Nev Campbell is not in this next one. It's all based on Courtney Cox's character Gail Weathers. Yeah, I just read about that today, and I was like, oh, are you mad? Yeah. Now, in saying that, the first Scream to me is like so iconic. I love the first Scream. Aaron hates it. Aaron hates it with a passion. I love it. It's still one of my favorite. Yes, he's like got such a hard on against it. He hates it, but he likes really gory movies. I love it. I saw it in the theater, and I remember that first scene where the kid gets gutted. And I was like 15 years old, and I was like, this is effing awesome. Like, where has this been all my whole life? This is the best scene in any movie I've ever seen in my life. And people were like, oh my God. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought beginning to end, it was flawless.
The first movie was one of those moments where I hope we get back to in the theater.
No, everybody's too desensitized. They're not going to. We're fucked with horror movies now.
But going to see that movie on a Saturday night with my buddy George Preckle and Dan Crolius, and Dan snuck in like a 6-pack of Guinness or Samuel Adams, I don't know what it was. And the theater was sold out that we had to go almost up to the second to last row, and we were looking like this. But
that's funny.
We were so sucked into the movie that we forgot our neck cramps and whatever. And again, that opening scene with Drew Barrymore was like, what the fuck? Like, this is...
Poppin' popcorn, yeah. Which, by the way, style icon in that scene. I was like, oh my God, she's so cute. And who expected her to get off within the first 10 minutes? And what a scene. What a scene. It comes and gets you with a wallop, and I'm all about it. All about it. I recently saw this movie called Frozen. Have you heard about that? Not the Disney movie. They get stuck on a ski slope. Yeah. Okay. So just to show you. Okay. Look.
I heard about it. It's by a director. I can't remember his name, but I know he did something before that I wanted to see.
So look, everybody kept saying, there's this scene. And I'm like, what is the scene? You know, because I'm thinking, you know, it's more of a claustrophobic movie. You're stuck in a situation, you know, that claustrophobic feeling. Dude, when I tell you this scene was one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen in a movie, it took me like a day or two to get over it. It was like so disturbing. But basically what happens is the guy's on the ski lift, and I'm not giving it away because like literally on the cover of the movie, that's what you see. They're stuck on a ski lift, and the guy has to fall. He's going to go get help. And when he does, there's wolves, and he gets torn apart by wolves. And when I tell you, this scene is just... I mean, it's like a 5-minute scene, and I was like sitting there like, oh my God. And I mean, I've seen a Serbian film, haven't blinked an eye. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen so many, you know, what is this? 30 days of, you know, solo, nothing, you know, that scene. Oh my God. And that's, like nothing. We got to do disturbing movies one day, Elliot. Oh my God. Because you know everything about disturbing movies. Yeah. Like you could probably, oh my God, come to think of it, like you would be the expert with the disturbing movies.
Well, like, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I could still say, just like going back to where like horror film history, and I guess, you know, I could just tie it into what a failure Skimarinkadink is, whatever the hell it's called. It's like, you know, the last time we all talked was I finished off with like, you know, Frankenstein and Karloff getting big and Lugosi, all their breakout roles. And, you know, it's like after that, basically there was a couple of sequels here and there. And then by 1937, Universal was bankrupt. Like it got bankrupt because of bad investments and the Depression. So things were doing bad. And then finally in August of 1938, this theater owner decided to do a back-to-back marathon of Dracula, Frankenstein, and I think something else. And this 3-day marathon in 1938 in Los Angeles rebooted and rebirthed the entire Universal monster cycle, and that he showed the films for 24 hours for like a week, and it was such an amazing success that even Bela Lugosi came out to like appear as Dracula because Bela Lugosi was doing bad. You know, he was doing these Bowery Boy kind of like horrors with ape and gorilla suit stuff. You know, I'm sure we've all seen some of those. Yeah. So that kind of revamped it all to like bring about the new wave of Universal horror. And it's interesting because, again, there's so much back then, and even like what we grew up with, there's so much more behind a horror story, and like whether it's a movie or it's in fiction. And it's like Kurt Sidomak then comes along in 1941, and he's a guy that was an extra in Fritz Lang's Metropolis and had worked on a bunch of movies in Germany. And he basically is someone that was basically fled World War II during, you know, Nazi Germany. And I think at some point he was even asked to work on some of those, you know, Hitler propaganda movies. But, he flees the Holocaust. And, you know, he comes up with, which I just is a brand new book I just read, which I knew a little bit about this, but just you really get some quotes from Kurt Sidomak, is that the pentagram and the 5-sided star of Larry Talbot and the werewolf that we know now for 100 years is the myth. that's really based on the yellow star of David and the Jewish marking of basically, the Holocaust of like,
oh wow,
Jews having to wear that yellow star, and that was the stamp of death. And he based that whole idea on that the werewolf myth that he came up with, basically, that we know today in werewolf movies, is that the yellow star is a sign of like being cursed as a Jewish person, and that curse you can't escape. And he said something to the likes of like, when the moon comes up, like that's almost like for him, the moon was a metaphor of when someone discovers you're Jewish during the Holocaust in World War II, and suddenly you're cursed and you're damned to death. And that's what he was getting at with the metaphor of the werewolf. And it's just mind-blowing to find that out now.
I never knew that. That's incredible. Wow.
Exactly. And it's like there's just so much more of a commentative, like, real humanistic like message there.
And I'm assuming that it all ties in with the German folklore of like the hounds of hell and all that, these demonic dogs and things, because that's a German folklore story, if you go to sleep, the hounds of hell, and I don't know what the word is. It's like ick looking dugga or whatever. I can't say it, but it's something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know a lot more about German history than I should, but yeah. Oh my God. That is so creepy. Yeah. There's this one really old movie, you'll know it, the silent film that they've done. You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of it. It is so effing crazy. It's a silent film. It's German. They look like, oh my God, it's so creepy. The Cabinet of
Dr. Caligari, yeah.
Yes, I just watched that. What the F, creepy ass. Now, see, that to me is terrifying. And think about, that next to Skinamarink do.
Yeah, again,
I'm just saying, like they were working with so much little, and there was a war going on, and they managed to get that, so, and a depression and a ration of food, and yet that masterpiece came out.
Yeah, it's like the Cabinet talking about Dr. Caligari, which I mentioned a little bit before. It's the guy who wrote that was Robert S. Wine directed it. Hans Janowitz wrote that because he had seen a murder happen in the park across from his street. He had seen someone go into the bushes, this tall guy in a whatever, and following a girl. He heard a scream, and then the guy came out of the bushes and he walked away. And so that was part of traumatizing him. So he wrote that script, and then I think it's Robert S. Wine directs it. And yeah, there's so much to that. And again, there's the impressionistic sets that are kind of like Cubist and Picasso, and there's just so much going on in that again, like unlike Skinamarink, whatever the hell, it's that these people writing and directing it are working through their own fears, and they put it into that script and the direction. And then it's also, a commentary on, again, like you said, World War I, and like I mentioned in the last one, like 1921, I think it's 1920 and 1922 in March or April in Los Angeles, the American some union marches down to one of the theaters in LA in protest of that film, because it's an anti-German part of our history with World War I's raging. And this riot breaks out protesting Cabinet of Dr. Caligari showing, and people are killed. Like, people are killed during this riot where Los Angeles police has to come out and stop it. And it's like, there's just so much more levels to horror back then that are creating this,
which is probably what made it so good, because it was so, border on the realism of everyday life, and everyday life wasn't polished, squeaky clean like it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't have a bunch of kids going, my anxiety and depression are acting up,
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, so after that Kurt Sidemak, he does Wolfman, he rebirths the whole monster cycle of Universal. They have like House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula. It finally dies out with Abbott and Costello. So Karloff then is kind of like, he's been done with the monster shit for a while. He doesn't want to do it. So that's where he meets Val Lewton. And Val Lewton is one of the directors that's now taken over RKO Studios. And RKO is basically the small fledgling studio. And I forget the executive producer, but the producer says, we're going to give you, Val Lewton, $150,000 a picture. Do whatever you want, make something cheap, and whatever. So one of the first films that he makes, Val Lewton, is with Jacques Tourneur, and that's Cat People. And,
I love Cat People, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a significant shift in horror filmmaking in the 40s, because it goes away from the monsters and all this stuff that has its roots in Gothic literature, but it becomes now more psychological. And it's really, like, if there's no Val Lewton, there's really no A24 today. There's none of these films that are kind of horror supernatural but are trying to be serious and there's no exorcist. Like Val Lewton's really the guy that really creates that, says let's start making horror more adult and even it's gothic. And then from there he does, I think Jacques Tourneur does The Leopard Woman. Then he does I Walk with a Zombie.
Oh,
and,
I remember that. Yeah, that's
and
a
it's
great
like
one.
he just basically changes horror as we know it from the 40s to 1950. And again, then Karloff agrees to star in The Body Snatcher, and that's really like his own rebirth. And The Body Snatcher is based on a Robert Louis Stevenson story, and it's based on like I think Burke and Hare, and that's the movie that gives Karloff this whole new rebirth as like a very respectful actor, even if he's doing horror. The material is so much better, and Karloff, again, it changes his career after the Frankenstein cycle, and then from there again, Val Lewton does films like Isle of the Dead, which is based on a painting, and Karloff is in there. It's the first like new version of a vampire. I think they call it Verloc, whatever. The vampire name that they come up in that film, we've seen in a lot of movies since. And then he does Bedlam, which is about, I think, the real life story of insane asylums in the 1890s, the turn of the century. And then The Seventh Victim is like a Fincher movie, and like it's an amazing movie if anyone hasn't seen it. It's very creepy.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's very creepy.
It's just like
so
it's really it's so dark, and it's about it's saying to many like it's great as a story in horror and gothic, but like it's showing you the village in the 1940s of what was going on there. The East Village in New York City was like a lot of like spiritualism and mediums, and there's a lot of different waves of thought.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a creepy movie. I've not seen that in such a long time too. I remember after I saw it, I needed to like take a walk to get over it. You know what I mean? Like I needed to go see some sunshine and like remind myself the world was out there and okay, because it's like leaves you with such a heavy feeling. But that to me is a great horror movie. That to me is what horror movies are all about. Like you're bothered by it for a hot minute, and it takes you a minute to recover from it. That to me is what makes it great, And you got to say, like a lot of these guys who did these movies, they had real suffering to put behind it. Like you just said, the guy witnessing the murder was motivation to do this nightmarish movie. And that to me is what makes it so authentic and genuine. And that's what I love about him. You know what I mean? That's why there's so much more, I don't want to say emotion, but just like, balls to it, I guess. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. And it's like you said, like that stupid Deep House movie. It's like there's the Ryan Gosling movie. I don't know if you've seen it, Lost River.
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard about it though.
Oh, you might. I just watched it again, and it's incredible for his
Is
first.
It scary?
Movie.
It's a scary movie.
There's some great horror. I don't know if it's say scary, but he does a lot. He did his homework, and there's a lot of good horror references. And there's a part where like the lead guy starts diving underwater into these sunken houses, and it sounds like it's like Gosling with his directors. He makes it so much more creepy and scarier than that movie you said you just saw, because there's just more layers to it, and it's very much more like a Werner Herzog movie meets Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive and Valhalla Rising.
I would like that.
So I think you would like. There's some incredible things that Gosling does, a director, that like knowing the AD side and the production side, like that. It's amazing what he pulls off, and it's just there's some just creepy, weird stuff. I'm gonna call it a horror movie, but you can see that Gosling did his research. Like he put some effort to say, I want to point out this part, and there's a whole part of the whole plot with Eva Mendes, who's like now his wife and mother of his kid, which is the whole part of like. There's this part where there's a Grand Guignol type of thing going on in this town. And the Grand Guignol, like we've talked about, is like, that's where horror came from in the 1890s. It was that stage in theater in Paris that created horror plays that we've all taken our like leads from. And he does like, there's this whole plot with the Grand Guignol that Eva Mendes is a part of, and she dies on stage every night. Like, it's just like, again, there's just like, even if you hate it, this guy did his research. Like he studied films and he studied horror history to do these wink and nods that it's like, again, better than half the crap coming out now.
Yeah, well, I love that. I'm all about it because I'm not liking these horror movies. Like I said, nobody needs a thinking man zombie movie. You know what I mean? Like that was ridiculous. And I want to throw one out there that is so utterly disgusting. Like usually for me, disgusting movies I can deal with. So I'm like, no big deal. I have a rock hard stomach. So not a big deal. I've watched all kind of disturbing, not a big deal. This movie, like it, and I told Aaron because he loves graphic, gross movies, and I'm like, you got to check it out. But it's like called A Very Strange Night, And let me just tell you, okay, so this movie, within the first 5 minutes, we're like not even through the beginning, intro of like starring, produced by, you see a guy rape a corpse, okay, turn into a zombie, and then rape another woman, and then eat out her vajay, and then go on a STD, sex crazed zombie murder spree. And I was like, usually I'd be all about it, but I was just like, this is so gross. It was so gross in so many scenes. I mean, like I could deal with the vajay eating scene, like he literally rips it out, uterus and all, and just like eats it like an apple. And I was like, oh, that's creative. I've never seen that before. But then he ate a tampon. And that, my friend, put me over the edge. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Where the fuck are we going with this movie? Where the F are we going with this movie? Then they made the zombie thing an STD, which I thought was effing hilarious. So all the hoary girls were like, what's wrong with me? Because I'm a whore, I'm now a zombie. It was great. It was great. At the end of it, I'm sure it was like some kind of like, and that will teach you girls to be whores, You'll become a sex-crazed zombie. Because like literally all the girls got it horrible. They were like, maybe I'll sleep with this guy. He's a little smelly and he looks like his skin's falling off, but And then they're like, my vajay's rotting. Like, seriously, it was the stupidest goddamn movie. And I'm just like, ah. And you could tell some man wrote it because there were so many like period references and stuff like that. And anyway, so I just had to throw that out there. Disgusting movie. I've been so traumatized this last month with my overload of shitty horror movies. So I watched so many of them and I'm so pissed off because I didn't like any of them. There's like not one that I looked at and was like, oh, this was good. This was good. Except for Fire in the Sky. And like, that's from what, 1989? But like, there's not been one. I saw Megan. I effing hated that.
That looks horrible. I mean, I don't give a shit.
If you saw the preview, you saw the whole movie.
That's what it looked like. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, again,
it wasn't scary. It wasn't gory. The plot wasn't. I mean, pretty much you know exactly what's going to happen. I will say this: the acting was good. The little girl, I wanted to smack the shit out this kid in this movie. I wanted to Bernie Mac her ass. I mean, she played the role so well. That's how you know she played the role well. And the other girl who plays the adult that's so stressed out taking care of her, it's all well done. But we all know, like, if you bring home any kind of fucking robot into your house, it's not going to end well. Like that, or you have a creepy scenario like the 80s show Small Wonders. Like, why the fuck did you have a robot?
That's true. That's right.
She was home alone all day. God knows what was going on. I don't trust it. Don't like it. Did I now chase off Elliot? Did I?
No. Sorry, my laptop. I need energy. I need power for it. But I don't know. Like, yeah, it's weird because there's so much stuff out there now. Again, I'm trying to, get my horror movie that I got a weird contract for years ago when I didn't know better and I just wanted anything. So it's like you said today, Tubi. I'm like, this distributor's talking about getting it onto Tubi. I'm like, is that going to help? I don't care. I just want my horror movie to be seen because I put much more into it than Skinamarink did. And but it's like you said, it's like, I don't know. It's like, the grand, if anyone ever asked me or whatever on this show, whatever, it's like the horror that I like is like somebody once said to me, like, I think maybe it was before I even made Season in Hell, my horror movie, or anyone, but somebody once said, like, shock without purpose is kind of pointless. And I think that's been kind of lost in the 21st century, where shock had a purpose in the 20th century of horror movies, and the greats that we all love and we celebrate and that inspire us as filmmakers, I think they all knew, like, if we're going to do this, there's a reason for it. And, I think today, from Skinamarink to all these movies, like you're saying, it's like, oh, let's just do this fucked up thing. And that's great. And then I think, like, with so many of these films, they don't even have a second act or a third act of the script. No. They just have, if I can get them in the first 30 minutes, I get distribution, I get into a horror festival, and then it could be like, I'll pretend that there's a message, but there's nothing there. And I think that's such a big part of, like, what's plaguing why I hate horror movies lately, and you do. I think, like, there's no thought behind the shock. There's no really reason for it. Doesn't connect to the rest of the story. Right. There's no layers. And then there's no, like, the third act, like, catharsis is one of the most important parts of writing. Like, catharsis is, like, such a huge trope that once I learned about it at 16 years old, it's like it's just like that's such a big part of horror in itself. Of, like, The Hills Have Eyes, the original, and even like the remake, the catharsis of having that family turn into monsters that they're fighting, but then they get that revenge, so you feel that revenge, you get that satisfaction, and then there's the disturbing part of like, wow, I've just changed. I've become a monster along with this family, and I've become just as bad as them and just as bad as the monsters. But there's like that emotional catharsis again. There's like a release, there's like a cycle, and there's a climax.
The moral to the story,
there's nothing. There's no climaxes. That, like you said, that fucking movie Deep House, she just dies. What's the point of that? Like,
I know. I kept waiting
have
for
a
there to
meaning
be
to
some
why.
kind of point. Yeah, it was all too obvious. Yeah, it was really obvious, really stupid. I didn't get any of it. It pissed me off. Like I said, yeah. And I don't know if we're ever going to get that way with horror movies back, because now they're trying to be so disturbing, and even the disturbing ones are just kind of crappy because they're trying so hard to disturb you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, look at movies like, Serbian Film. Like, Serbian Film, when I first saw that, I was just like, I knew what I was getting into. I knew it was going to be disturbing, and I was like, well, there it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just some producer out there doing something for the sake of sensationalism. And was it disturbing? Yes, it was totally disturbing. Was it good? Fuck no. Like, no, it's not good. It's a horrible movie. It's a goddamn awful movie. And if you sit there and you're like, I think it's a great movie, something fucking wrong with you. I'm just saying, the guy did it because he knew people were going to get disturbed and freaked out. Like Henry, Portrait of. Now, I will say Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
You love that. I know you love
a movie, and I do because I met the guy.
I can't bring myself. I was just too scared of it at 17 years old.
I love it, and like when I met the guy, it was so funny because it was during his Walking Dead days, and I knew him from that. So I'm like, I know you from Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and he was like, what? I didn't know a girl like you, and I was like, oh honey, you don't even know it. Like me, a girl like me, yeah, I know you from Henry. Decapitation scene. I was there, my friend. Yeah, I loved him. He was great. Yeah, I should have met him in his hotel room. He invited me. I should have gone, but live and learn, right? Live and learn. What's it, but
wow.
I'm glad we had this talk, Elliot.
Yeah, we all said a lot for Aaron to he's got a lot of editing to do. He's got a lot of like themes. A lot of themes, a lot of films. He's got a lot of storylines.
Do you have a favorite alien movie? Because mine, hands down, the scariest one for me, I've got two. It's going to be Communion first, and probably the Fourth Kind. Those two are the ones that
I think is a good movie. I gotta say, I saw that.
Terrifying. Yeah, the ending of it, I was shit. Yeah,
Carrie Russell. Is that the one with Carrie Russell?
I think
that is an incredibly well done movie that does not get enough. It doesn't
get enough credit. Yeah,
that was a scary movie, and it really it did its homework with UFOs and alien mythology, and that is J.K. Simmons is in it, right? Isn't he the guy?
So. Yeah,
that gives them that is definitely one of the best alien.
So,
movies.
What's your favorite alien movie then? Which you're like, oh, and we got aliens. We're not even thinking about Sigourney Weaver and alien shit. But
I love that movie.
Those are the OGs. Yeah, we everybody likes those. Yeah, but for me, it's got to be my top two: Communion and The Fourth Kind.
I don't know. It's weird because there's the movie that really fucked me up as a kid that I went back and watched. That's still, the art of it is Invader from Mars, like that. The original one from the 50s.
Oh.
Really is still so. I just rewatched it again, and as a kid, my mom was crazy. A lot of
mine too.
I had a really insane childhood, and but in the movie, the original one, basically these aliens come and then they start taking over the town and replacing them, and the mother goes from being loving to the kid figures out that the mother's an alien because she starts acting cold, and there's marks on her neck that let him know that she's an alien. It just was.
Are they eating frogs? Do they eat frogs? Am I right? Do they eat frogs at some point? Am I right on that, or is that the '80s version? Did they remake it in the '80s? And no,
they did. Tobe Hooper remade it.
I think I'm thinking of the one because I think I remember that because the marks on the neck, and it's by the end of it, everybody's a fucking alien but him, right? And he's like, "What do I do?" Something like that.
Yeah, I never saw the Tobe Hooper. I just mess up his name, but yeah, I never saw the remake. But the original is still I just saw recently, and it is just so creepy and well done. I still think it still holds up, and it gets even the creature effects towards the end when they reveal stuff. It's just done in such a creepy way that even towards the end, and I think even Scorsese said this. He noted it in one of his books on film. you still at the end think like, is this a dream? Is the kid dreaming that it's all ended happily and maybe he really got taken by the end? Like, it's just very, very well done, and it's very that might be one of the my favorite ones of like in terms of.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think what I saw. I think I saw the '80s remake because
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where he thinks he wakes up and everything's normal, and then it's not. It's like, oh no, the aliens are here, everything is real, and you're fucked. Yeah. Oh god, that's terrible. Yeah, what a horrible thing. Can you imagine? Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah.
I mean,
that. You know, that and the OG Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, I think that like when
I watched that way too young. Yeah, I watched it. You do a really good impersonation of that. I watched
my
that
friend
way
Kevin Love
too young.
like that shit. I've drawn that picture a million times. Me and the Healy brothers, we love like that last shot. But I think. Yeah, in terms of like, I think that might be like top 3. The Donald Sutherland one is so fucking creepy and scary.
Oh my
as
god,
a kid,
yeah.
On Channel 11 to see like the weird chopped up where like the dog has the face of a hippie. Like it's just some weird shit, man. That really creeped me out as a kid. I was like, what is this movie? Like, what is going on? Like, this is not the 1950s version. Like, there's some
and you keep getting that like building feeling of like isolation and just like who can you trust? That's the thing that like I was struggling with. The whole thing is like who do you trust? You know, like that is just it's so scary. I love that. The whole alien thing scares the F out of me because I don't understand it. I don't know it. Like, you know, they said in the news just recently Russia shot down a UFO. You know what I mean?
That.
So like apparently, and like they have all these sightings now. Okay, they had the one. Did you see the one over the Sapphire Strip Club in Vegas?
No,
it was no. This is brilliant. It was a marketing scheme. They literally put lights above the club, and they had all these people do these social media things, going, "There's aliens," and like the strippers, like, "My name's Barbie, and I strip at Sapphires, and I think there's a UFO," and like they pan up, and there's a UFO there, and she's like, "And I'm dancing from 8 to 9," you know, like literally that's what it was. But it was the best marketing scheme I've ever seen in my life. I loved it. Yeah. We got aliens above our strip club, folks, you know? Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, I think that Independence Day, like that is definitely, I love the cheese, whatever. I mean,
it's cheesy. Yeah, I like it.
It holds up though today. There's some hardcore shit about Independence Day that is not happening in blockbusters today. With like people fucking die. Like the first lady dies. Like she gets killed. Like a lot of people die in Independence Day. Like you're like, whoa, they just took
when the doctor, like the lady drops into the hole, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's definitely some hardcore stuff to that movie that today, you know, if they made that, they would water it down. Like there's some sick. I mean, that's for me. Like, I mean, that moment of watching that in the theater was like, wow, this is insane. Like, that's definitely one of my top favorite alien like sci-fi movies. Like, I mean, I love Alien and Aliens; those are amazing. But like, those came later. Like, my DNA is like Invader from Mars and Independence Day, and Communion is definitely creepy as fuck.
Communion's terrifying. Yeah, read the book. If you read books, I know you read books. Read the book.
I've read a bunch of the Stryber books, and it is pretty scary if he's telling the truth about like
the book made me not want to go in the field that was next to my house for like 3 months. I like would not go out there because I was convinced those aliens that smelled like cardboard were out there. You know what I mean? I was like, nope. Yeah, and then it freaks me out if Travis Walton's story is true, okay? And I think it's got to be because this guy stayed, firm with.
I think it is, yeah.
Right. Okay. So these people that are up there that he says he sees with the eyes, he says that they talk normal, they look normal. Who were these people, right? And then I start to wonder, and I think to myself, are these people who were abducted and like now they work for the alien? I know that's like an insane thought, but like you wonder to yourself these things about like, what happens to the people who, are quote unquote abducted and stuff like that, Do they go up there and, I don't know, live with aliens?
Scary. That's more scary.
Fucking terrifying, dude. Yeah, that will be our horror movie when we make our horror movie. Me and Elliot will make the most cool movie ever, man. The most badass, terrifying, disturbing movie y'all ever seen.
I think so. I think we can. Anything's better than Skinamarink.
Skinamarink suck, dude. What the hell? Why are they so upset about it? I don't get it. It just was a little isolating and a little, I was like, keep the fucking camera still. That's what I was, and and I was like, is that a person there? What's going on? I get it, And what about these kid actors? Like, what did they tell them? They just wander around, like Stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen.
So nothing. So there's nothing ever shows up. There's no alien, no demon, nothing.
Nothing. No, they just wander around aimlessly. Yeah, that's all it really is. They wander around. It's a lot of really creepy camera shots and shadows. There's illusions that there might be somebody lurking in the shadows, but yeah, nothing really. It's just the fact that the kids are stuck there. There's no parents, and it's just on a loop. It seems like, yeah, it's fucking stupid, dude. It could have been so much better, I think, too.
Oh, that sounds like, thank God I didn't stay. That sounds horrible.
So that's how we feel about that one.
That's it. And yeah, I guess my last thing to say is there. I think it's still out. There's a website called Fandor, and that's where if you want to see movies from the global community in horror and whatever avant-garde, Fandor at the time I subscribed to it for years when I was broke. Just an amazing glossary of films from like Hammer horror to way better versions of Skinamarink. And I think it's still out there. It's a website, and it's just, I lived off of just subscribing to that for years when I was broke. And it's just, you can find some popular movies that you've heard of, from Night of the Living Dead to like the most like hardcore avant-garde Indian films, Japanese films. And you can see that there's so many more films out there in the last 50, 60 years that are 10 times better than Skinamarink, that do a much better effect of it, and that are just as that have much better purpose, direction, everything. And again, Fandor, I hope it's still going, because it's an incredible website, especially if you're a filmmaker. And they've just got, like, you name it, experimental, avant-garde, horror, sci-fi, lesbian, you name it. It's just like,
you had me at lesbian, yeah.
Lesbian. But again, it's just like,
where did I sign up? Yeah. Let's be honest.
I wish people should watch some of the movies on that, and then they'll know what a piece of crap Skinamarink is.
I'm going to go back down the 80s route for my next, because I need to cleanse, because I've been watching so many more and I'm over it. So I need to go refresh myself and my palette. And the one that I was going to text you about it, I think we should do Dead Video next.
What is that?
Well, look it up, my friend. You would like it. It's good. Yeah. I'm sure. I bet you Aaron knows. It's good. It's good. It's an 80s movie. It's a movie where zombies come out of, like, it's so bizarre. Zombies come out of from a TV show, and they all have personalities, and
wow.
It's 80s, and it's fun. Look it up. That's it. Mine made up.
Okay. I got to find it.
Yeah. Look it up, man. It's fun. I think it's on Tubi. I'll look tonight. I'll text you and let you know.
Okay. That sounds good.
And in the meanwhile, let's not get alien abducted or probed in our
Yeah, now I'm all freaked out. Now I'm all freaked out.
Why are they always probing the butt, though, I wonder? Like, what is up with that? I don't want to find out either. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to know.
Your true crime stuff is scary enough. I can't watch it. I try to watch you. If I hit your clip at 11 o'clock at night, it's a testament to you.
That's so funny you say that, because this little content creator, this little he's so sweet. He's a little gay guy. He came and told me I was scary.
You are.
He said to me, he said, I have a little bit of advice for you. He's like, I think you would grow followers if you weren't so scary. That's what he told me. I'm like, oh my god.
It is amazing, because you can do all this other stuff, but when you get in that zone when you're talking true crime, I can't handle it. I'm like, it's amazing, because I don't think there's anyone else that really.
I'm real. What can I say? It's real. It's real. Yeah.
But you're so like, you do your research, so you're not just like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're dropping some hardcore facts for everything you talk about, and it brings back Robert Stack on Unsolved Mysteries when I was like 11 years old.
Love Robert Stack. And dude, did not some of those Unsolved Mysteries scare the shit out of you back in the day?
Fuck out of me. Like, you definitely, you're channeling Robert Stack.
That one about a ghost. I can't remember what it was, but it was an Indian ghost. And that one scared the shit out of me. Dude, I was like, turn on the lights, lock the doors, somebody get out a crucifix, because Robert Stack just scared the fuck out of me. And also, Robert Stack had me terrified of every goddamn white van I ever saw in my life. Any stranger who looked at me or my sister twice, I was like, oh, Robert Stack said, watch out. I'm watching out. Him and John Walsh. I was like, hell no. To this day.
But Robert Stack had some fucking evidence, though, that was like, fuck, dude, that I'll never forget. And I used it in my UFO. I was 15 years old. I did a documentary on UFOs in my T-reduction class. And he had an episode, but they kept playing this footage for the next couple of months. And I wonder what it really was. It was supposed VHS evidence of a UFO in the middle of the woods. And it looked fucking legit. And to this day, I still think about it now. Like, what was that? Like, And
Well,
he
you
kept
should find the
repeating-
episode. They have all the episodes on Pluto, and I think on Tubi. You can literally find every Unsolved Mysteries episode. Yeah, I've watched them again and again and again. Yeah, I love it because some of my true crime stuff, I go look up and I'm like, that guy's still missing. Yeah, like I love that stuff. Yeah, you can look them up, like literally.
Yeah, this was like, that's what was even scarier about her at 13, 14, it was high school, 14, 15. What was scary is that the video that was sent to Unsolved Mysteries, somebody sent it to Unsolved Mysteries of this UFO, and they said, like, let us know what you think of this. And it was like
creepy.
Like, to this day, like, what the fuck was it? It looked so legit, and that's what of a UFO sighting. And you're like, what the fuck? Underground in the 90s, how things used to be.
It was a goddamn alien.
Oh God, I'm done. All right.
All right, it's been fun. We'll get you next time, right? No,
Yes.
look up Dead Video. We're doing Dead Video next time. I'm going to text you about it. I'm going to text you the trailer so we can go over it because I love it. And I think it's been a while since I've seen it, so I think we should go over it. I think you'd like it though.
But we got another segment here. We haven't done this in a while. The retro rental review of Smoothed It Out. We're gonna look at some cover art. You guys tell me the one movie you want to pick, and then we'll watch the trailer see who got the best one. So let me pull this up here. And these are from 82 or 83, I believe. Can you see that, fellows?
Fellows.
Now I can, yeah.
Yeah, I can now.
Okay, I'm gonna scan through these. Randy, I'll let you pick out first.
Okay.
Is there a way I can make it bigger? Is that better? Is that better for you?
That's good.
I can see it good,
smaller, but I'm cool either way.
Okay, you got A Night to Dismember, Lust, Betrayal, and Dismemberment. Whoop, skipped one. Whoop. Angst, based on a true story. It's a home invasion. You got Brainwaves, that stars Tony Curtis and Vera Miles. Don't Go to Sleep, made for television, deluxe edition. Jekyll and Hyde, Together Again. I saw a clip from that. Seems fucking crazy. Julie Darling, she's sweet 16 and she simply loves her daddy. That's weird. Sybil Danning, though. There you go.
Oh,
if you like Howling 2.
Yeah.
Midnight Madness Begins When the Clock Strikes 12.
I haven't heard of any of these.
I actually own that one.
You got to take a shot. Murder by phone, you know. A madman pushes a button and kills by phone. Would you answer?
Yes.
Night of the Zombies.
There we go.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. They eat the living. This is Olivia. You see, Olivia, a housewife traumatized as a child by the murder of her mother, seeks relief from an abusive husband by moonlighting as a prostitute. Begins killing her customers.
Uli Lamel, huh?
Yeah.
Directed by Uli Lamel.
Yeah, we've heard of this one.
Hey.
We reviewed this one a while back.
I like it.
John does not.
I
heard that.
That was boring. That was fucking boring.
I kind of agree with that. Whoops. Well, we got the old Phantom of the Opera here. Terror of the Phantom. Maximilian Schell, Jane Seymour, Michael York.
Huh.
The Alchemist. Robert Ginty goes beyond
That's
the
a cool
revenge of the
cover.
exterminator.
Yeah.
That looks interesting.
Yeah. Oh, The Entity.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That
That's a great movie.
I want to own that VHS. That looks it's classic.
They
The
really
Hereafter.
Yeah.
The Hereafter, where only the dead survive. The House on Sorority Row. We've also reviewed that one in the past.
I don't think I've seen that cover.
Trial by Terror. Videodrome. We've done that one as well. Vultures, It'll Eat You Alive. I haven't seen this, but I've seen it a lot of places. Extro. Anybody seen that one?
I have it.
I don't think so.
Well, what do you
have
say,
it on
guys?
VHS.
Randy, what are you picking?
I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna go with Night of the Zombies.
Night of the Zombies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I've never heard of that one, and it looks cool. Like this is something if I was in the movie, the old movie store, I would have picked up and.
Oh,
rented.
buddy, don't listen.
Yeah.
It's like Cruel Jaws, but with zombies. It's a mashup of different films with
okay.
very little original stuff.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Fun because it's like greatest hits, but
Right.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee I would have had a good time with this. I can tell.
Oh no, dude, it's super fun. I'm just telling you, don't.
Are we watching the trailer now?
Oh, I was trying to play it, but I was getting. You guys couldn't see it, could you?
No.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Zombies. Do you believe in zombies? 9.
2 mysterious deaths and a scientist's horrific secret bring a CIA operative face to face with the living dead.
Wait a minute, I must be thinking of a different movie.
Nick Martino, you finally caught up with us. Who am I addressing? Colonel Orville Prescott, U.S. Army Chemical Corps, Special Unit C. Zombies? We find that word very distasteful.
Zombies. An army of dead men brought back to life by a bizarre experiment. A monstrous master race roaming the earth in search of living human flesh to satisfy their ghoulish appetites. One man holds the key to the earth's salvation as the undead begin a march of conquest, and the night of the zombies falls.
Damn.
Dude, I swear that last guy they showed, I swear to God, he's a porn star.
Oh, probably.
I swear to God, he was an 80s porn star.
That looks like one I take it back that I would have rented and then took back and said the videotape did not work and got my money back.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing I thought was weird is, like that level of military that deals with zombies is only like C. Wouldn't you think that'd be further down the alphabet? C's pretty early on. You got foreign affairs, like what else? Zombies is only 3?
Foreign intelligence.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I was thinking of? Hell of the Living Dead.
Oh,
that's
okay.
That's the one. Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragasso, Italian, directors. It's those two things mashed.
Kind of the same cover, ain't it?
Looks a lot.
I feel like they used it. I feel like
they might.
I think they both have a cartoon looking zombie on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, John.
I swear it was that.
Let's get your pick, John.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Go back to Night of the Zombies. So this imagery on the back, that is the Italian version. That's from that. Look at that. That wasn't what we saw. The trailer. Look at those. Those zombies are way different.
Did we watch the wrong trailer?
I think we did. But
you know what? At this store, it's got the wrong tape in it, I guess.
Yeah, wrong tape.
Yeah, they got a bootleg or something. I don't know.
That's what happens when you go to Mama and Papa's store instead of.
Yeah, right.
We don't cycle our tapes properly. None of them are rewound. So what are you going with?
I'd go with Midnight. I own it. I only watched it once, and that was years and years and years and years and years ago.
Okay, let's find that one. I'll pull that up. What year do you think this is? Because I don't remember. 1982. Yeah, must be. John Russo, is it? Oh, the whole movie? The whole movie's on there. John Russo. Okay, guys. Oh, wow. Okay. This is a good quality. Lisa got that going for us.
19, Nancy 17, and Hank 21. Time for a while. But now they're missing. It all started as innocent fun. The van, the drinking, the turn-ons, until they cross the county line. They cross the line into a lonely community where anything can happen, where anyone can disappear without a trace.
This is
And
totally
on
around
the
Pittsburgh.
pages of John Russo's best-selling novel, the story becomes a motion picture, Midnight.
And Madman Mars.
I thought I saw shoes sticking out from under that blanket.
Nah, he was just a big farmer with a bundle. Your mind's playing tricks on you, girl. You're all shook up. Soon as we find a good campsite, we'll smoke some of this good hash and loosen you up. Hold it there, fellas. Don't you make any foolish moves. Keep your hands visible.
You reach for anything inside that bag, and I won't wait to see what you're reaching for. I'll just shoot.
Maybe we ought to drag them out in the woods one at a time. Question them separately.
Good idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm intrigued.
It wasn't over.
Yeah.
Oh, it
though
wasn't
halfway
over.
through.
It's a 3-minute trailer. We're done.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, there's like a whole like redneck killers thing and stuff. Yeah.
Well, we gotta watch the trailer. Come on, Frank. Give me
You
the
want to watch
trailer now.
the rest
Yeah.
of it? All
Well,
right,
just,
man.
yeah. Give me something.
We're halfway through. Let me get back up.
We can get through it.
I honestly thought it was winding down. The guy was pointing the gun at the screen for goddamn eternity.
That's where I would have ended my trailer right there. That's pretty cool.
You would at a minute and a half.
Yeah.
It's from 81. They made their own rules back then.
What'd you do with my daughter?
Holy shit! It's a guy from Reservoir Dogs.
Might be right in front.
Lawrence Tierney.
Yeah.
There's been a half a dozen people found dead around here, just in the past couple of years since I came here to preach. Some look like accidents, some obviously murdered.
It's all right. Stay out of here. Take your boy along. Keep the road. Watch it. All right. I'm looking on you, Black Boy. Which one of you owns this van? I do. Okay, take your six-pack, get in the van, get out of town, now. You heard the man?
Get out of town.
We don't need your camera
That's
out here.
Pittsburgh.
Use your white trash.
Don't look for the hashish.
They should have known better when they came into town. Every sign pointed to what could happen there. Every indication told them to leave now. The wise guys in the bar, the preacher's warning, and the sheriff who made hate a way of life. Go, get out of town. We don't want your kind here. But they stayed. They stayed, and it became too late to leave. Too late as the clock approached midnight. Midnight. Now the book from the co-author of Night of the Living Dead comes to life on the screen. Don't miss John Russo's Midnight.
Man, if there's anything I'd want to ask John Russo about more, I can imagine what it'd be. Like, did you sign on for that? Was that they really put your name all over it? Really?
Yeah, I thought he directed it.
I don't know. I thought he just wrote it.
It's from the best-selling novel, they
Wow.
said, of his, with his name on it.
Using his name to sell it. That's for sure. I'd watch it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm going to check that one out.
It looks like a lot of really bad fun acting.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, what's up for you?
I don't remember the name of it, but I said it had a cool cover. Just keep flipping through it when I see it all.
Oh yeah, it had the eyes and shit.
Yeah,
on
just
it,
like
right?
peeking out.
Oh, The
That-
Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's watch that.
Let's see. I'll get the right one.
Because that's exactly how I picked out my movies. The ones that look the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way to do it. The Alchemist. Oh boy, we gotta. Who's involved with this one, right?
Who's that?
Our old friend from Full Moon, Charles
Richard
Band.
Oh, Charles.
Oh,
Is it Charles Band? Yeah, Charles Band.
Yeah,
directed.
Charles Band. Yeah, he's the leader. Yeah, the head of the company.
the leader.
The leader.
Of the cult.
Called the Full Moon.
100 years ago, a man passed through the gates of hell and paid the price of eternal damnation. Robert Ginter, the exterminator, ignites the fires of fear once again in The Alchemist.
All magicians turn lead into gold. At least that's what they told everyone they were doing. Oh, they really do. Changing themselves. You saw in that dream. He's real.
How do I make you understand that you've been drawn into this?
Can't escape.
A century-old curse. The reincarnation of a sacrificed love. And a final battle between the demons of darkness.
There it is.
Black magic. The Alchemist. Robert Ginty goes beyond the revenge of the exterminator. In The Alchemist, he will defy the devil on Earth or in hell. The Alchemist.
Is that Talia Shire? The
Looks like her.
Yeah, looked like her.
Oh no, that Robert Ginty or whatever the dude's name is looked like Dave Thomas's fucking stunt double or some shit. Dave Thomas from
Strange Brew.
Yeah, SCTV. Was he on SCTV? Yeah.
Yeah, he was SCTV. Not the Wendy's guy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pick that Jekyll and Hyde together again.
I think I posted a clip of this the other day. I saw it on not YouTube, TikTok somehow.
Probably on TikTok, right? It was
was
it the clip where he was like
he's yelling at the grocery store
about he had an erection or something.
Yeah.
Gotta find
Well,
the trailer
he
for
gets in the 10 items or less thing, and he counts and he's got 11 items. He goes, 11 items. Shit.
It's probably funnier you telling it than it actually is.
I don't know. All I could find is the 30-second 1982 TV trailer, so that's what we're gonna watch.
Well, that's what we got.
That's what we got, and that's what we're gonna go with. So, TV trailer time. Let's like make it full screen so we can really get the experience.
All I can tell you is that something unexpected and horrible is happening to me. I change into another person, an animal.
Dr. Jekyll?
Yes, I am Dr. Jekyll.
It's Jekyll and Hyde, together again. The comedy that examines modern living through chemistry. Rated R.
Oh man, that was
Now playing National Westwood Chinese Hollywood in theaters near you.
Hey, that's nice.
Hey.
It's coming soon. Okay, so who do you think had the best pick there?
Not you.
Nah.
Not you. I know it's not you.
I liked The Alchemist a lot, but I also liked the one John picked too. So I guess I would go with The Alchemist though, because that was the one I would. It looks like it had better acting. So that's
It's a full moon, so you're gonna get that at least.
Yeah.
All right. Did anybody have any show and tell items that they'd like to discuss?
Not really.
I don't. I mean, since we've done a show, I probably got 20 movies, but they're all scattered.
I got this for Christmas.
Oh, that's cool.
The Quarry.
Is that good?
That's that
was
like
really
point
good,
and
man.
click game.
I thought about picking that up. What the way they described it, it sounded appealing to me. It sounded like a slasher, right?
Yeah,
Is it a slasher, and you kind of direct it?
I won't want to tell you too much, but yeah, it starts off as it feels like a slasher at first, and then there's kind of a twist to it, more supernatural. But yeah, it was real fun to play. I'm going to play it again at some point.
I was going to say, have you played through? You haven't played through it again to see if it's any different by
Any
your
different?
choices?
No, because I was on vacation for Christmas. I played it over then, and then I got another game for Christmas, Fallout 4. So I've been playing that right now. But I'm going to play it again.
Cheap, so I almost just picked it up. Like even when it came out, it was like $35, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I read it's got like 12 endings. So
Oh wow.
yeah, and then the other thing I got for Christmas, which was pretty cool, so I got the Corey from John Paul, and this framed artist rendition of the original Wolfman I got from our friend Jenny, that does
Oh, that's cool.
Ghouls, Girls, Ghosts podcast and the What the Fuck podcast.
Oh,
we had
sweet.
we had like a dinner and we all exchanged gifts, so it was pretty neat.
That's cool.
Nice.
And then I also picked up the Army of Darkness 4K.
Yeah, he's
That's
got quite a shelf going, ladies and gentlemen. Quite a shelf.
Mr. 4K.
Yeah, that's all I watch now.
I'm not doing it. I ain't doing it.
Dude,
if it
is
comes out
expensive.
on 4K and I don't have it, I'm picking it up. But
How many times have you bought that movie, dude? I've bought it myself at least 6 times.
Yeah, right.
At least
Oh God,
6 times.
at least 6, probably. Yeah, you're right. Like from
6 sounds
VHS to this, yeah, at least.
All and that goes for all Evil Deads, and also Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. I've owned them shits more times than any other movie.
Yeah.
Maybe Friday the 13th. But yeah, only thing I have to show is this McDonald's hamburger that's been sitting here for about an hour. So it's gonna be real cool to eat that. But
you took that other one down. I saw it.
I was sneaking it in. But next month, we're letting Elliot and Lisa pick the movies. They're on the other half of this show. Of course, you've seen them if you're watching it. They're on the other half, talking about Fire in the Sky and some other shit. But they selected The Deep House, which I just watched not too long ago, and The Night Eats the World, which I've never experienced.
I saw it was really.
I don't think I've seen either.
Yeah, The
I've
Deep
heard
House
of
is
The Night Eats the World. I just haven't seen it yet.
The Deep House is a A24 film, I think.
What?
Maybe it's Blumhouse. Is it
I think it's
Blumhouse?
Blumhouse, I believe.
Yeah, one of them elite motherfuckers. It's not too bad, but
I dug it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, The Night Eats the World was really
what are those on?
Well, let me tell you real quick. I told her to go.
You better tell me the name again too. The Deep House.
The Deep House. And you can
watch. And what's the other one on?
The Night Ends the Night Eats the World. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like it's on Amazon. Deep Houses.
That was a cool flick, man. I really enjoyed that. That was one of the few horror movies I watched at night, and I was like, "Ooh, this made it better."
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, looks like it's only on Amazon, HBO Max, Voodoo.
What's
Paramount
the
Plus?
second one?
The Night Eats the World.
Come on, baby, give me the baby. Come on, baby, come on.
Amazon, Peacock.
All right, that's all I need to know.
Tubi.
I could look myself, but
those are two good picks.
Throw them out there.
Those picks are better than Terror Train 2022.
I feel like they're gonna be better.
You know, we're going. Do you think we're gonna have? Should we just review the second part at some point in the future just to get it out of the way?
I know I'm gonna watch it. So yeah.
When I saw it, I almost
in chat.
Yeah.
Are we just going to go ahead and do 2?
Because I thought 2 was coming out like way away from now, so I wasn't.
I think that they shot them right back to back.
Oh,
just
for
like
sure.
Sleepaway
100%.
Camp 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Or was that what it was? Was it 2 and 3 that they recorded?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's the show, guys. We'll see. Anybody have anything else they want to say at the end?
That's it.
All right. So let it be done. We'll see
It's
you
good
next
seeing
month.
you guys.
Bye,
See you
guys.
guys.
See you
See you
later.
next time.
Later.